And we are set to go here. It's round 4 action from Subiaco Oval in Perth. It's the Fremantle Dockers and the Kangaroos. Porter will go in the ruck against Simmons. Simmons got the initial tap of the game. McManus to Headland. Touched off his boot towards half forward Sinclair. Harvey. Little gift to Watt. Back to Harvey. He goes out towards the wing. Into open space for Lee Harding to run onto for the Kangaroos. Goes inside 50, looking for Rocker and finds him. Well, almost within distance for Big Sav. He'll kick from just outside the 50. 38 goals in 8 games against the Dockers in his career, Severio Rocker. Kicked 11 for the Magpies at Victoria Park in 1998. Goes short. A man in space inside the 50 is Clayton. Some loose checking there from the Dockers, and Clayton will have the first shot for goal from the afternoon from about 35 metres out.
And if you don't pay attention to young Clayton, he has got the ability to pick up 30 really unnoticed possessions. He's a fantastic link man, and I would say almost the most underrated player going around.
Averaging 18 touches a game in 2003. Runs out to the right and puts the kick across the face of goal. Minor score. The Roos are on the board. We've gone 1 1/4 minutes in the opening term at Subi.
The Fremantle Dockers start this match favourites, believe it or not, despite that heavy defeat against the Tigers last week at the MCG. But it is known they are a very different proposition back on their home turf. Parker, 150 games for him, his first game of the season. In the back pocket. Kicks it very wide, in fact, too wide for Sean McManus. And a turnover by the Dockers. Stevens from 70 metres goes short to Motlop. Loose checking by Fremantle in defence, and Motlop from just outside the 50 can go back and pump the Kangaroos forward yet again.
Well, I think he's got the ability to make the distance here. I saw him last week against Brisbane. He is a very, very long kick.
So Shannon Motlop, drop punt on its way, hasn't got the carry, good looking kick, it sails through. First goal of the afternoon to the Kangaroos. Ben Allen, you're on the money there. He really did get some good purchase with that.
Yeah, his action is fantastic, Mark. He performed well, but there's some bad signs here. Just a couple of loose, easy balls for the Kangaroos midfielders where Stevens there. What Fremantle have done on that occasion, they've actually zoned back and marked space. They need to, I think, the early days of this match actually get a man rather than space when they're zoning.
Good confidence booster for Shannon Motlop. Needs a good year in 2003. Draw first blood at Subiaco. They lead by 7 points. We've gone 3 minutes. Back in the middle, Porter and Simmons. Porter goes again for the Roos. Gets boot to ball, only as far as Parker, who collects his second possession for the afternoon. Dishes off a handball. The Dockers come wide to the members' wing. Troy Simmons. Simmons goes looking for Farmer. One out with Makepeace. The back of the contest, Makepeace did well. Crowe came through and tried to collect him. Crowe gets it back now, steps inside his man, flying shot at goal. He was off balance when he put boot to ball, and he misses to the left-hand side.
And good to see him get his hands on the footy. He went the bump, maybe he should have gone the tackle, Trent Crowe, but I think Fremantle as a forward line, they need to get their hands dirty today. When the ball's down there, they need to scrap to keep it in their area.
Jess Sinclair, former Fremantle Docker, with the kick in. He played 50 games for the Dockers from 1997 to 2000. Sinclair to Simpson. McManus. Chance for the Dockers through Woods. Nothing kick. Picked off by Stevens. Stevens goes looking for Rocker. Keeps it in front of himself. He's got Polak to beat. Tries to turn him inside out. Keeps the ball alive. In the end, it goes over and out for a throw in. There's Headland.
He's a full-back there, Jace, on Shannon Grant. He was recruited as a classy forward, but full-back at the minute.
I think Grant's taken him to the goal square to isolate Des Headland. Confident of a match up there. Colbert in over the top of it for the Kangaroos, wrapped up by Simmons, and we'll have another bounce about 60 metres out from the Kangaroos' goal.
Just interested in is David King on the boundary line, the same position he was last week. But just watching Simmons, he's against Rocker here, but I think he's got the ability to give the Kangaroos some problems.
So a bounce. Simmons got the tap. Harvey tried to soccer off the ground. Into the middle of Subiaco over the mark taken by Medhurst. Adjacent to the centre circle. Wants to move it quickly. Coming on the long lead is Crow. Couldn't hang on. Rawlings picks it off. Dishes to Baird. And Baird comes through the middle of the ground to Motlop. Decides to go himself. To centre half forward. Harding comes across the front of the contest. Brings it to ground. Peter Bell there. Coming through his Woods. Bell gets it back. Avoids the Lee Brown tackle. Plenty of pressure on at the moment. Grover coughs it up and comes to Harvey. Open goal square. Harvey tumbles it from 55. It's bouncing to the line and goes through for a goal. Great presence of mind from Brent Harvey. He looked up, thought about an option, Ben, saw the goal square open, decided to tumble it through himself.
And that was just pressure, wasn't it? Ball on the half forward line, a bit of a bumbling ball. Lee Brown has thrown a couple of great tackles in there. He's just got that forward there. Great. Actually, Shane Harvey, his younger brother, wasn't too bad last night himself. They love kicking goals, these boys. He's a dynamic player, Harvey. Got to watch him very, very closely.
Perfect start for the Kangaroos, the opening 2 goals of the game. Ball back in the middle. Porter and Simmons. There's a centre square infringement. And the Dockers will receive it. Simmons to a takeaway for the Dockers. And they have, as they have previously over the past year and a bit, started their matches very slowly. Simmons drives it long inside the 50. Longyear is the target. He goes to ground through the hands of Baird. Gets it across to Simpson. Running through some traffic. Kicks very wide. Makepeace the intended target. The ball will lose him in the back pocket.
Still think that's good. They're trying to isolate Justin Longmuir down there. I think he's the best contested marker that Fremantle have got, so it was a good decision from Simmons to go long towards him.
12-point margin to the Kangaroos. And the Dockers with the aid of a slight breeze in the opening quarter. Porter works Simmons off the football. Motlop, quick hands, Rawlings. Now Simpson has to stand and wait. Does it effectively. The Kangaroos are off and running. Stevens out wide. Kick inside by Watt. Looking for Clayton. Bounces off the chest, but the Kangaroos running in numbers. Watt follows up through the centre of Subiaco. Drives a pass and big Sabs on the end of it. 65 out. Open goal square. As a result, gives it an almighty thumping kick towards the line. Getting back was Woods. Off hands, a minor score. The Kangaroos looking dangerous in the opening stages of this match at Subiaco. They lead by 13 points.
Their forwards are presenting well, aren't they? They're just doing nothing sort of, you don't have to be rocket scientists, just playing single man in front footy.
Woods plays onto himself. Goes short and finds Headland at half back. Goes looking for Medhurst. Sets him a task against Simpson. Simpson couldn't quite bring it down. Slaps it out. Numbers at the back of the contest for Fremantle. It's Carr across his body to Simmons, and he marks just backward of the wing. So Troy Simmons, third touch for him coming up. Goes short and finds Hadrell. Steps inside Porter and then goes long to the 50. Farmer over the back of the contest to Rawlings. Tidies up to the outer side. He's got Lee Brown, the former Docker, in wide open space. He can go over the top to Colbert and does. Colbert can look up, assess his options and bring it back inboard to Motlop. Motlop's got Simpson. Uses him now. How will it bounce? He'll want to get round onto his left boot if he can. He's got pressure from Carr and support from Polak. Walker comes at him and gives away a free kick. So Graham Polak plays on to the run of Carr. Goes looking for Medhurst, was taken high by Watt, claims the call. Sinclair and Crow. Medhurst just comes back to give Watt a bit of Watt for. Another throw in on the members' wing. Roos by 13 points. We've gone just over 9 minutes in the opening term. Simmons flew high. Beautiful tap to Pavlich. He explodes away from the contest and goes looking for the whiz. It's over the back of the contest. Justin Longmuir keeps it alive. Only momentarily as John Baird takes it over for a throw in.
It was a great set play, wasn't it? Fantastic ruck work from Simmons again. He's already showed early in this match he can be dominant, and great read from Pavlich.
Clive Waterhouse on the bench awaiting his opportunity. First game since round 13 2001. Pavlich and Longmuir in there for Fremantle. Bell exerting physical pressure around the congestion as always. And we'll have a bounce about 20 metres out from the Fremantle goal.
The Dockers deep into attack, yet to bring up their first major score of the afternoon. They've got their opportunity right here. Longmuir, Porter works his way to the front cleverly. Kick was half smothered, gathered by Carr, swings it round his body towards the goal line. Getting back, Harvey fists. But eventually it's off hands and a boundary throw in adjacent to the behind post.
Matty Carr got another big job today. He normally gets the best player from the opposition from the midfielder point of view. He's got Simpson today.
4 disposals so far this afternoon for Carr. Once again a throw in. Simmons gathered by Stevens, hurriedly onto the boot. And Lee Brown, best club man at the Dockers in 2001, enjoying the transition across to another former Fremantle player in Sinclair. Left foot kick. Morrell on the end of it was grabbed without possession. The Kangaroos will get the free kick.
In front again, Mark. They've been quite dominant in that area forward, Kangaroos. Every forward that leads towards the ball carrier is in front.
Coming off a career best equalling 5 goals against Brisbane. Shannon Grant may have been taken as well. Taken by Grover. The hand pass a little untidy. Headland under pressure. Back to Grover. The Dockers relieved momentarily towards the wing. Stevens over the top of Bell. Gathered by Morrell. The Kangaroos through Warwick. Rawlings can once again set up play to Simpson. At half forward. Into the pocket. Grant finds some space. Headland closes fast. But Shannon Grant has the opportunity to take a kick about 35 to 40 metres out. Free kick or the mark. Take your pick. And loose checking once again by the Dockers, who seem out of sorts.
Yeah, he just got him on the lead, didn't he, Grant? And that's all you need, a couple of metres. Just turn Headland very quickly on the initial lead. I reckon Headland's out of his comfort zone there, so it's very good coaching from Dean Laidley. I reckon Headland would prefer to be out on the half-back line, where if he gains possession, he actually can kick the ball deep into attack. But Shannon Grant's taking him right at the full forward line, and he wouldn't have played much footy down there.
For Shannon Grant, a tough kick this. As you can see, it's a relatively tight angle and into the breeze in that forward pocket. Left foot kick, Shannon Grant. That's a pretty good effort. He likes it. The Kangaroos like it. And they've got 3 on the board.
It was a solid kick, wasn't it? He's probably grown another league. I know he's an outstanding player, Shannon Grant, but to have the ability to play on the full forward line, similar to Nathan Brown in a way, small forward, it's pretty hard to do. You've got to have some special capabilities. He sort of started his career as a midfield runner, but to have the ability to kick goals like this, that's fantastic for Laidley.
So great start by the Kangaroos, the opening 3 goals of this contest. Shannon Grant's first goal, giving the Roos a 19-point break. We've gone 13 minutes in the opening term. The Dockers need to find their feet here. Simmons got the tap to Hazelby, that's better. Inside 50 to Longmuir. He dishes to Pavlich. Tries to go around Baird, goes one way, back the other from 48 metres out, goes for goal and puts it through. Just what the Doctor ordered for Freo. Pavlich gets his first. Good presence of mind, Ben Allen. He went to take Baird on. Baird was ready for him, but still gave him the 1-2 to get around.
Great tap work. Hazelby just whack in on the boot as soon as he can, and that's what they're trying to do, trying to isolate Justin Longmuir on Baird. He's got a few inches on Baird, and great finish from Pavlich. But I reckon that's where Fremantle have to look to continue their dominance. They've got real potential to get over the top, I believe, of Porter in the ruck through Simmons. And if he can get first hands on and bring guys like Hazelby into the game, they're a real show.
Centre breaks 4-0 in favour of the Dockers, so it is an area they need to exploit. And there's Simmons again. Into the path of Carr. It didn't quite sit for him, or the Dockers would have been away again. Hazelby laid a tackle on Motlop. Colbert went in vigorously. Free to McManus, to Pavlich. They go forward again looking for Medhurst. Off hands, Harvey and Farmer. Spills, a chance for Medhurst from the pocket. Harvey to beat, Medhurst tries to bend it back. Can't quite do so. But in the last 2 minutes, the Dockers look so much more potent when they can get clean hands out of the middle.
Yeah, they've got it in there quick, haven't they? And they get guys like Medhurst on, and they're able to express themselves. That's all they're asking for, those little forwards, Farmer and Medhurst, the ability to beat their opponent one out.
It's almost like the switch has been turned on for the Dockers. Makepeace back to Harvey, who kicked the ball in initially. Drives towards the wing. King started on the bench. Charges towards the football. Leon Woods with poise. Looks inside. Left foot kick towards half forward. Justin Longmuir with a height advantage over Sinclair. Couldn't take the mark. Bell lays it off into the path of Longmuir from a standing start. Bouncing ball will be crucial. Just the wrong side. Jeff Farmer screaming to his teammate, but with no luck.
Good signs. Justin Longmuir started well. Didn't spend a huge amount of time on the ground at the G last week. Wasn't really his conditions. Farmer's really set for a big game. He was poor last week as well.
Makepeace dangerously kicks in. Pavlich has paid the mark. Had to be precise with that. Motlop was the intended target. As Haynes was about to be replaced by Hayden, the crowd anticipating Clive's arrival onto Subiaco Oval, but for the time being, Matthew Pavlich holds centre stage. The reigning club champion. Just 3 goals for the year. And this to get the Dockers back to within 5 points. From right on 50. Squeezes for a goal. He salutes the crowd, and the Dockers are back in business.
Well, already he shapes as being the man today. He's a remarkable player. I don't think too many players in this comp can play full back, full forward, and also in the middle. Makepeace, gee, it was an errant kick. Normally it's quite neat with those passes from that area, and Pavlich just reading the ball off the boot. Good play from him, and a fantastic finish, but he's remarkably versatile. 2 goals from the middle already.
Well, someone or something woke the Dockers up 13 minutes into the opening term, because they were pretty flat, but the last 4 minutes they have dominated, and the margin back to just 5 points.
And Petra in the middle. Good coaching from Laidley.
Simmons, another centre break. It's now 6-0, and that's a clean one. Gets it towards half forward. Baird leads his man to the football. Flips it over the top to Sinclair. Sinclair goes towards Stevens. Grover kept his feet. Good tackle from Lee Brown. Jots the ball free. It's out of bounds for a throw-in.
We'll have a go for the Kangaroos, Lee Brown. He did that with Fremantle. That was a great tackle on Grover. Didn't allow him. As Clive comes on, there's the roar. Great to see him back. First game for a year or so.
First game since round 13 of 2001. Welcome back to League Football. Clive Waterhouse. Colbert to Rawlings. To centre half forward. Morell's the target. Hadrill to beat. Got hands to it. At ground level, Corey Jones ducked the head, evaded the tackle. Got it inside 50 towards Rocker. Bouncing ball eluded he and Polak. Polak back onto it first. Tapped it to the advantage of Headland. Headland goes looking for Simmons. Petrie with a well-timed fist. Harding to Harvey. Taken in a tackle by Walker. King soccers it towards the line. And it's over and out for a throw-in. Tempo just lifted in this game in the last 5 minutes or so. There's Clive Waterhouse. He's gone to centre half forward, being picked up by John Baird.
It's a small forward line, isn't it? They've got Medhurst and Farmer inside 50. Clive just outside 50.
Trincrode pushing up to the wing now. Parker paddled it towards Simmons. Grabbed by Stevens. Quick kick inside 50. Play on's the call. Harding's claimed it. Umpire says play on. He gives it to Morell, and he kicks the goal. Standing start snap from Digby Morell.
We'll play to here a bit. Digby with West Perth in his waffle days. Anthony Stevens. He just got the ball forward there, coming off for a break, and the players will be rotated in the midfield without a doubt. But this goal's really come from nothing. And that's a great attribute for the Kangaroos. Have just get yards forward. That's what Stevens did. Another example of a forward in front with Lee Harding was play on, and good snap there and awareness from Digby Morell.
So Morell's first, the Kangaroos fourth. They're 4-2-26. The Dockers are 2-3-15. The margin 11 points. We've played 19 minutes in the opening terms. We take a look at Fremantle's small and open forward line.
Medhurst, Farmer down there.
Simmons gets hands on it. Simpson's kick was smothered by McManus. Getting busy is Carr across to Simmons. Take away by the Dockers. A spiral towards full forward. Waterhouse is there through his fingertips. Right overruns it. Baird gets it across to Makepeace. Sinclair with poise. Can swing it out wide to Colbert. In support is Rawlings. Up towards the wing, tries to draw Pavlich. Couldn't do so. Pitches in front of Rocker. Polak. Well tackled by Morrell. Umpire called play on. Jones with a chance. Chips it short. It's okay. And the mark taken by Robbins just inside the 50. Rocker is loose in the pocket. Spears the kick in the big man's direction. Doesn't make it that far. And Hadley, who started this season in promising form, relieves for Fremantle. 11 points the margin. The Kangaroos off to a flyer. The Dockers have steady. Pavlich. Surely a free kick in the end there. Robbins. Across to King. Walker. Weight of numbers favour Fremantle. Polak sets Pavlich a task. Bell goes to ground. Hurried kick by Simmons. Brown will have to stand under this. Doesn't attempt to mark. Robbins is there, punched away by Pavlich, comes out the back to Walker, in turn to Hazelby. The Dockers are away, only momentarily, is it? No, well done by Carr on the stretch in front of Simpson. A very strong mark. 5 disposals for him. Crode, unable to complete the mark. Around his body, Medhurst into the path of Crode. A chance for the big fella with momentum. Runs into a make-piece tackle. Across to the Wizard. 35 out. Loves this situation. And the Dockers get their third.
Great little work there. Bell coming off for a rest. He's worked pretty hard. But it's good confidence, I think, for a young farmer there. He's been out of sorts and just getting a goal on the board for this first quarter. Not sure if the talk was as it could be, but what Crode did, he kept the ball alive. And in the forward line for Fremantle, the ball's constantly moving. You can attract defenders. And again, just let this little fella express himself. He's got that ability to do the unexpected. Good start from him.
So Jeffrey Farmer gets his first. His fourth for season 2003 as Peter Bell has a rest. He's had 3 possessions in the opening stages of this game. Margin back to 5 points. Petrie got the tap down. Centre breaks at the moment 7-0 in favour of Fremantle. Make it 8. Carr inside 50 to Crode. Got it on his chest, 45 metres out. Wide open goal square. Considered it for a fleeting moment. And will now go back and steady himself.
And not only have they been beaten comprehensively out of the middle, Jace, when the ball's gone forward, it's actually gone deep to a dangerous area. Hasn't dribbled out of the square. And another example there, Crode has shot inside 50.
Kick on its way from Crode. Just bends away to the right-hand side and misses. 2 behinds to him so far this afternoon.
Simmons has been good, hasn't he? He's up to 6 possessions. You know, keeps going like this. It's more like Ruck Rover stats rather than Ruckman stats.
Make peace with the kick in. Heavy zone in place from Fremantle, so he decides to go himself and just get some distance. Sets Sinclair up. Big job. He's got 3 to beat. Can't do so. Fortunately for him, was held in the tackle too long. The Kangaroos come up with a defensive 50. Jess Sinclair, 6 touches to join Brady Rawlings as the best for the Kangaroos. Simpson has 5, Stevens 5. For the Dockers, Carr 7, Pavlich and Simmons 6 apiece. To the wing, Simmons underneath it again. Taken high with Stephen Coops, and he gets a free kick centre wing. Wants to move it quickly. He's got James Walker in some space. Can flip it over the top to Farmer. Kick it straight into the man of the mark. Sinclair did brilliantly. Slaps it towards Harvey. Can he keep it alive? Got one high from Coops and will take a free kick. Squares it up to Motlop. Goes to the runner Simpson, but he was picked off by Carr. Back to Motlop. Tries to run away from Pavlich. Goes by hand to King. King can go inside 50. Looks for Morrell. Will get there on the bounce. Can turn from the boundary line. Bends it back towards the goal square. And it hits the behind post for a throw in as Drew Petrie comes off. To be replaced by Mark Porter as we head boundary side. Here's Michael Thompson.
Graham Polak just striking a bit. Took a knock early. Seems to be gasping through and he's just looked a little bit slow. Sav Rocker had the break on him. Simmons off for a well-earned rest after some brilliant work in the middle. Longmuir
against Morrell. Longmuir took it out of the ruck. Handball to Cook. Tackle came from Wells. Play on's the call. Robbins in there working hard for the Kangaroos. Hayden. Robbins back to Wells. Black support. Pavlich to Cook. And the Dockers will come away from half back. Looks up, goes towards Crode. Watt attacked it well for the Kangaroos. Got hands on it to Rawlings. To Simpson. Couple of Kangaroos on, 70 metres out from goal. One of them's Robbins, and he takes the mark. Wants to move it on to Motlop, but he's on his left foot, has to come around. Does so, gets around. Goes to the pocket looking for Grant. Headland arrived late, rather. Grant, 2 to beat. Headland takes it. There's a free kick for a throw against Grant. A little dish he gave over his head. It will come back to Roger Hayden at defensive 50 for the Dockers.
It was one of their better performers last week in the wet at the MCG. Kicks very short. Sliding into the mark is Polak. Matthew Pavlich off the ground. And Peter Bell, who missed training yesterday with illness, being nursed through this very hot day. The kick to centre wing, Simpson couldn't mark. Terrific tackle by Morrell on Walker. Jars free, McManus. The kick intended for Crowe, didn't get that far, and Watt slips in to take the mark.
She just had to be a couple of metres long, it didn't, and Crowe would have run onto that footy quite easily.
Kangaroos gather inside the centre square. Medhurst got back well, important hand. King across to Grant. Here's Fly in the action. The crowd love it. Medhurst still inside the centre square. The Dockers
Kick.
with not many numbers inside 50, but one of them is Peter Bell. Hazelby is loose further afield, but the skipper, for the time being at least, will go back and assess what's ahead.
Good vision from Medhurst. Bell was by himself for a while, but just got him out of the corner of his eye. Good kick.
Just the one goal so far for the year for Peter Bell. The drop punt, bending back beautifully, and the captain gets his first of the day.
Fought back well, haven't they, Fremantle? Kangaroos with the first 3 goals of the match. Could have blown them away, but they've stuck to their guns. Just good play by Medhurst. He put a couple of tackles on in a chase, got to his feet very, very quickly to remain involved, and that's why he was a recipient of that free kick. You just see Bell maybe at the left-hand corner. I mean, we couldn't even see it on the vision. He was that far out, so which makes that kick and the understanding of where Bell was even more impressive from Medhurst. Bell acknowledging young Medhurst there as a great kick.
So the Dockers lead for the first time this afternoon. We've gone 27 minutes in the opening term. Centre bounce infringement. The Kangaroos will get their first centre clearance. It had been 8-0 until then. This time it comes back to Mark Porter as silence reigns over Subiaco. So Porter kicks into the man on the mark, Longmuir. Motlop, the little give back to Porter. Taken down by Simmons as he kicked it, but it found its way to Lee Harding.
I've been impressed with this boy this year as well. He's very, very quick to get to top speed. He's playing on arguably Fremantle's quickest player in Shane Parker, Shane's 150th match, and to beat him to the ball when they both stood shoulder to shoulder just shows how quick this boy is.
So Lee Harding kicked 6 goals for season 2003 from outside 50, gives it everything he's got. That's a beautiful kick, straight up over the goal umpire's head. And the Kangaroos snatch back the lead at Subiaco.
Fantastic match. There's been some great goals, but I reckon Kangaroos probably just a little bit more impressive. It's just a wobbly old punt really from, I mean, it was touched by Longmuir as well, but they got it forward again. So really this is an opportunity to kick a goal simply through Harding being in front of his man again. Good basic footy, but smart play all the same.
It's looming as a bit of a shootout in perfect conditions. Both sides pretty potent up forward, 5 goals to 4 in the opening 28 minutes.
And Desi Headland, I reckon he's got a job today because he's on the wing now with Shannon Grant. So Grant's moved up the ground and Des has followed him. You see him on the edge of the square there.
Lee Harding coming off 3 goals against the reigning premiers last week at Telstra Dome. The Dockers slap it forward. Robbins intercepts. Grant, quick hands to Rawlings. There's a free kick. It'll go back to the Kangaroos. And the recipient may well be Rawlings or Grant.
I think it's Rawlings. Well, if it is Rawlings, he started the game pretty well.
It's Grant, he was shoved in the back after he kicked it.
Rawlings running with Hazelby, so he's got a job today as well, Brady Rawlings. There's 7 possessions there, and Shannon Motlop started well with 8.
The kick is out wide, but it's good. King slips clear. Hurt the Dockers the last time they met in Canberra with 3 goals in the second half. Inside full forward, Morrell couldn't take it. Under pressure is Walker. Feeds it back to Hayden. Tantalises the defence. Streams away, has a bounce. Waterhouse with the sit. Clive takes a beauty. And off he goes. Across to McManus. That'll spark Freo. Pentland can't take it cleanly. Turnover. The Kangaroos through Grant. At centre half forward. Drives it towards full forward. Hayden has to stand his ground. He does. But a bit of excitement from Clive in his first game back. How good was this? With the sit. And Jess Sinclair was always going to be used as a stepladder.
Yeah, that's perfect execution, isn't it?
This game has lifted a tempo or two. Grover kicks long. Hazelby wrestled to the ground. Somehow got a hand pass away to the skipper. 50 metres out. Farmer keeps his feet, takes the mark, and open goal.
It's a handful for Makepeace, this boy Farmer. But what about the handball from Paul Hazelby? He's been picked up by Rawlings, and I reckon he'll follow him all day. But that one-on-one contest on that half-forward line was outstanding from Paul Hazelby. We see it here. He knows where Rawlings is. Just look at this handball.
He was gone, wasn't he?
He just knew exactly that Peter Bell had a couple of metres on young Robbins, and that awareness there is extraordinary. Not many players in this comp have got that.
They've got some exciting players, the Fremantle Dockers. When they all fire, it makes for scintillating football. Jeff Farmer, 2 kicks, 2 goals. And the Dockers reclaim the lead. Dying stages of the opening term. So quarter time here at Subiaco.
And what a quarter.
And Fremantle win their first quarter for the season. It's the Dockers 5-4-34. The Kangaroos 5-2-32. It's the home side by 2 points at the opening break.
Tonight, the cream of South Australian football clash with the best from the West at Amy Stadium.
It's all too easy.
It's a battle of the birds when the Crows take on the Eagles tonight on Fox Footy Extra.
Want to make big savings on your monthly mobile bill? You can with Telstra. Bring your mobile to Telstra now, and with our rewards packages, you can combine your mobile with your Telstra home phone and save 5% off most mobile calls. Package your mobile and home phone with your Big Punt Internet or Foxtel from Telstra, and you can save a big 10% off these calls. Money you can spend on other things. Call Telstra now to find out more.
The Nissan Pulsar is famous for being only $19,990 and for being loaded up with features. Now we're giving the $19,990 Pulsar a very big feature. A 1.8-litre engine. The 1.8-litre, not 1.6, 1.8-litre Pulsar. Now in $19,990 with air. Big engine, little price.
Janet. She bought a Simpson washing machine and dryer and suddenly found the time to develop a killer backhand. Next door, Teresa bought a Simpson dishwasher and now has time to discuss current affairs. Tanya bought a Simpson oven and she then had the time to get to know the new neighbour, Tim. Simpson's time-saving features give you more time for life. Simpson, time for life.
The total entertainment is red hot now at Harvey Norman. Hurry in for the Xbox Hot Package deal. You get the Xbox console, plus the Hot Box, including 2 hot games, a DVD remote, and much more. It's hot, but you can touch it for just $398. Play games, watch DVD movies, be totally entertained with the Xbox Hot Package deal. Pay just $398 now at your total entertainment destination, Harvey Norman.
Go Harvey Norman, go!
Think you're a wrestling fan? You should see our shows. Main Event loves wrestling. We live wrestling. But most of all, we know good wrestling. And we're hooked on TNA. If you're a true blood, total non-stop action is the future of wrestling. If you worship, convert to the new wrestling heaven. The TNA Asylum. It's a hell of a place. TNA Wrestling 4 live on Main Event this Thursday, 10 a.m. Call your service provider. pumpkin pie too.
He's special. He's my bitch.
Cooking soon on Showtime. What if someone gave the AFL clubs cameras
This is a critical point.
One of the true believers.
and they made their own television?
Not breathing.
He's going to take him down in a death roll.
Chancellor of the week this week is the Whisk.
Mark Dragosevic here working undercover.
We're not responsible.
Oh, what?
Club Corner, 6:30 Tuesday to Friday, exclusive to Fox Footy Channel.
Quarter time here at Subiaco, and it's the Fremantle Dockers 5-4-34, fighting back well in that second half of the first term, if that makes sense. Kangaroos 5-2-32, 2 points the margin. Pavlich and Farmer with 2 goals apiece. Grant, Harvey, Morrell, Harding and Motlop all single goal kickers for the Kangaroos. Shannon Motlop with 8 possessions, Brady Rawlings and Simpson with 7 apiece. While for the Dockers, Carr and Pavlich have 7, Simmons 6, Bell and Walker 5 apiece. So Dean Laidley, plenty to say to his troops at quarter time. Ben, we called it at 13-minute mark of that first term. Fremantle suddenly clicked in a gear.
They did, and it was Matthew Pavlich that really got them going. Chris Connolly, I think, would be pretty happy with the fight back, and also be happy with the way that their forwards in particular really scrapped when the ball was in their forward half.
2 other games of round 4 action taking place around Australia this afternoon. Adelaide taking on West Coast at Amy Stadium. Carlton taking on Port Adelaide at Optus Oval. If you don't know the scores of those games, look away now. Let's head boundary side. Michael Thompson's with Kangaroos assistant coach Paul Hamilton.
It's indeed, Paul. Entertaining first quarter football. North, very impressive early. Then the centre bouncers just seem to go the Dockers' way.
Yeah, we've been well beaten out of centre bounce at the moment, so we have to change our structure a little bit. But look, Fremantle are running well. The conditions suit them. We've got to make sure we hang in, work strong and go from there.
How are you handling the hot conditions?
Look, I think we're doing it well. We're rotating. The guys are certainly prepared well for it, so we're confident they'll be able to handle it well.
Good luck this quarter.
Thanks, Michael.
Total disposals in the opening term, 85-75 in favour of the Kangaroos. Inside 50s, 14-12 in favour of the Roos. But Fremantle dominant out of the middle, 8-2, centre breaks.
Just looking at that forward setup, they've got Farmer deep and the rest of the guys, Crode coming out, really the 50-metre line. So they're just trying to get Farmer. He's kicked a couple already, just get him by himself.
Second term action from Subiaco. It's the Dockers by 2 points at the opening change. Simmons in the ruck. Got the tap. Simpson got on the end of it. In fact, it was Jones for the Kangaroos. Towards centre half forward. Harding. Bumped McManus off the contest. Hayden right alongside him. Hassled him out of it. McManus went back and got the ball. Kick was ordinary. Turned it over. And the mark taken by Shane Grant. 5th touch for him coming up. Averaging 18 a game in 2003 so far. He goes short and finds Harvey for his 7th touch. To goal in the opening term, Brent Harvey. He's 55 out on this occasion. Unloads the spiral. Unloads the barrel and puts it through from 55. Great goal, Brent Harvey. One of the most dangerous players in the competition. And he kicks his second.
I was just looking at what was in front of him, and there was a couple of leads. You see Dickney Morrell sort of leading towards the middle of the ground. He chose not to go for that, and why not? It's a warm day. He's feeling pretty good about himself, and really with the torpedo, it actually comes down to a confidence thing, and also the thing he actually hasn't tried to kick that too hard. Normally, when you try and kick the torps too hard, they can be a bit erratic, but that was all timing. Great play, Harvey.
2 goals to Brent Harvey, both from torpedo punts.
When they come off, they look absolutely sensational. When they don't, well, you cop a lot of criticism, but he's put the Kangaroos back in front. Warm conditions, Easter Sunday from Subiaco Oval. Porter wins a decisive tap. Shark though by Bell to Cook. High ball, Sinclair. Plenty of courage had Hazelby coming from behind. Jess Sinclair swings it very wide. Making ground again is Grant, being busy in the early stages of this second quarter. Again, they've got it just outside 50 through Jones. Tight angle, left foot kick across the face. Morrell, will he get back? Yes, he's taken a strong mark. Opposed to Hadrell, he's looking for support inside. This is a very tough angle.
He should go the banana here, Mark. I think he would have done this at training all his life, essentially. He had set shots from here. And he needs an experience there, and he's just towards him. Yeah, he's going for the banana.
He's taking your advice, Ben. Can he cap it off with a goal? Screws it around and may have just missed near side. He has. Paul Medhurst started the second quarter on the ground, but quickly on the phone, and that margin's out to 5 points for the Kangaroos.
Gone almost 3 minutes in the second term. Hadrell with the kick in.
The longer he holds it, the more likely he's getting the hot Harry on. It should be man on man now.
Thumps it long outside defensive 50. Petrie will fly. Polak was in there for the Dockers at ground level. Cook. Handball to the voice of Pavlich. Woods left it behind. King tried to slap it. Intercepted by Coops. Carr. Woods followed up. Just has to release the hands, holding the ball. Super tackle from Corey Jones. If he had been able to get it over, the Dockers were away. He had two men in open space, did Dion Woods. But Jones nailed him.
It's too easy here.
Man on his own is Simpson. 65 metres from goal, and another one on his own inside 50 is Grant. Can trot in the left footer. Tries to slot it from the angle, and does. Great goal, Shannon Grant. He kicks his second. And the Roos really making Fremantle pay early in the second term.
Yeah, there's been a couple of easy releases after that free kick. You just look at this one from Corey Jones. It's to an unmarked Adam Simpson. He's getting picked up by Matthew Carr, and it's just an easy chip across to Shannon Grant, who's getting picked up by Headland. So that was their problem last week against Richmond. There was too many easy releases in the middle of the ground from Richmond's point of view, and that trend has continued here.
A replica of the first quarter. The Kangaroos with 2 goals in a hurry. Harvey and Grant slotting home Majors.
Tap.
Bell gets the takeaway for Fremantle. Drives it long. Waterhouse opposed to Sinclair. Sinclair, important hand in there. The Kangaroos with numbers. Makepeace, much improved player, has a bounce. Backs himself through half back. Delivers towards Morrell. He'll have to be good here. Surrounded by Dockers. Carr to Bell. Didn't take it cleanly. Now he's got a problem. Hadrell at close quarters to Carr. Back inside to Walker. Over possessing. They've still got control though. Finally Carr. Spirals one to half. Well, Clive again from behind. He is riding high on confidence in his first game back. And he wants to put through his first goal in more than a year of footy. 2 spectacular marks from Waterhouse.
He's just thrown himself with the footy. That's fantastic. A year or so ago, he would have slotted this in terms of distance, this set shot at goal quite easily. It's been interesting to see how he goes, but he is a confidence player. A couple of sensational marks under his belt. Don't be surprised if it goes through post height.
164 career goals at the Dockers, the best Fremantle has in its history. From 55 metres, he shanks it. The build-up was sensational. Unfortunately, the banner behind the goals will stand for the time being, but the crowd getting involved when Clive gets involved.
Pretty unfair from you, Ben. As soon as you said that, he was never a chance to kick it. Give him a break. It's his first game back.
Sorry, Clive. I'm getting tied up in all the excitement.
Makepeace to restart things for the Kangaroos. They lead by 10 points in a spot of bother. Runs out of space. Has to be a pinpoint pass, and he finds Grant as Crode and Makepeace get a piece of each other. And 50 metres.
It's actually a pretty important period for Freo. They fought themselves back into this game at the end of that first quarter. The Kangaroos have started very well. First 2 goals of this quarter. They just need to play some solid footy for the next 5 minutes, Freo. Just keep themselves in the match.
Shannon Grant, one of those goal kickers for the Kangaroos in this second quarter. Takes on Walker. Got a problem. Has he taken it out? No. Has Simpson in support. Tries a left foot kick inside 50. Pack sets. Petrie with a hand on it. Carr will mop up for Fremantle. Behind play. Hadrell is hurt. Carr buys some time. Now fiddling around with the football. Simmons takes the mark at half-back, but the Dockers, in particular Robert Hadrill, in some trouble in defence. The long ball. Headland been a little quiet. The ball comes off hands. Porter provided a contest. Robert Hadrill, will get an update from Michael Thompson shortly, is not in a good state. It's a 10-point lead to the Kangaroos, 7 minutes gone in the second term.
And remembering he copped a very heavy knock last week, Robbie Hadrill, from Greg Stafford.
Cook emerges from the congestion, runs to 55, thumps long towards the goal square. Out of bounds on the full. James Walker throws his hands in the air. He was alone 30 metres out from goal. Unfortunately for Troy Cook, didn't spot him. Hadrill, here's the Hadrill incident. Problem with his right eye. So the ball is with Shannon Watt. Thumps it long outside defensive 50. The back of the contest, it bounced off the chest of Headland. Picked up by Stevens. Kicks around the boundary line to the contest between Woods and Motlop. Boundary line wins.
And dare I say it, Hadrill might be sporting an egg on his face at some stage over the next hour or so. That was a nasty knock.
Throw in. King and Cook, unlikely ruck combatants. Woods, partly tackled. The Dockers are away. Thumping kick inside 50. Waterhouse at the back. Baird off the contest. Out of bounds on the full as we head boundary side. Here's Michael Thompson.
Jason, the biggest problem they've got is that Hadrill's in so much pain. He's got his head down. They're finding it difficult to find exactly where the pain is. It's round his right eye, and the doctor is just now getting some sort of antiseptic to wipe away a slight graze. But he's very, very groggy, dazed, and just having trouble communicating with him at the moment.
Searing pass from Peter Bell. Hit Justin Longmuir on the chest, 40 metres out directly in front. As Hadrill goes to the dugout. Longmuir from 45 metres out. Wasn't a fluent run-up from Justin Longmuir on that occasion. Just stabbed at it, Ben, and hit the post.
Exactly. There was no fluency to that, wasn't it? It's right on his distance. Just see Robbie Hadrill again. I think he's got a... Oh, it's hard to work out exactly what happened there.
There's a massive arms and legs and elbows and knees in there. Just keep an eye. There it is, Troy Cook. Maybe it's a finger in the eye even from Troy Cook. It looked to be Troy Cook's hand, so maybe either a fist or a finger in the eye. Accidentally from his own teammate. In the meantime, the ball has come from full-back and found Shannon Grant, defensive 25. Plenty of players around the wing in front of him. The kick eludes the grasp of Sinclair. The back Stevens, picked off by Waterhouse, goes back inside 50. That's all ruse, and the mark is taken by Brady Rawlings. Goes short to Grant again.
He's picking up some pretty easy balls, Shannon Grant, hasn't he? That's up to his, well, this will be his 10th possession. He's been pretty good, kicked a goal as well. It's becoming a pretty important player for him.
Grant towards Porter, got one hand to it, but never a chance to mark. Brown at the back, towards the line, and the ball goes out for a throw in. So there's Hadrill, seems to be in less pain. Stat getters in the game, Matthew Carr with 13. Grant, Simpson with 10 apiece. Bell with 9. Porter the tap. Simpson, ineffective disposal. Motlop flipped it out cleverly to Simpson again. Goes looking for Harding. He's got Hayden to beat. Bell there for support, and Bell will clean up. Through the middle of the ground. Beautiful pass right onto the chest of Stephen Coops. Has got Cook breaking for him inside 50 and just chips it over the top. He marks 30 metres out, slight angle.
Good run, wasn't it? There's also good awareness from Jeff Farmer, who was actually in front of him. He realised Troy Cook was on, and he was running towards him, and he chose not to lead Jeff Farmer, so he wasn't in shot, which is fine. But if he had led, he would have brought his North Melbourne opponent with him. So good team play from Farmer.
So Troy Cook, 5 possessions for him, averaging 14 a game in 2003. Kick on its way. Beautiful off the boot, never looked like missing. And Troy Cook's first.
They're just working hard, aren't they? Things not going all their way with Hadrill off the ground, but this boy is as hard as they get. Peter Bell, that's a lovely low kick. I mean, it was a powerful kick. It had to get there quickly to Stephen Coops, and he's just identified that Cook had the space in front of him and just lobbed it up out in front from which he ran onto it.
Important goal, brings the margin back to 3 points again, just as the Kangaroos were looking to take control.
Turning into a real arm wrestle, this round 4 clash from Subiaco Oval. It's the Kangaroos by 3 points. From the centre, Stevens wrapped up. Harvey overran it. Porter at ground level did pretty well. Simpson shovels it back towards Colbert, who left it behind. Clean possession, important here. Caught brilliantly. Tackling Colbert, forces a turnover. Coops, Bell, charging forward his beard. Gets it to Porter, the big man with a couple of Kangaroos out wide. Gee, Clayton's got metres in front of him. Gathers the bouncing ball. Runs towards the 50, delivers nicely, all too easy, and Corey Jones has got it about 30 metres out, a slight angle.
There's a bumbling ball in the middle of the ground, and Clayton and Sinclair, I reckon, were the two players that just bolted backwards, and this is just an easy pop-up kick for Corey Jones, but Clayton's got that ability. If you don't watch him, he'll just get under your guard.
Corey Jones, his first game for the year. This Kangaroos lineup has been tough to break into. The set shot on goal slides across the face. A disappointing finish. Not happy, and the Kangaroos miss an opportunity. Boundary side, Michael Thompson.
Thanks, Mark. Robbie had a poke in the right eye. He can't open it without it causing him major pain. The doctor's just talking with him now. Basically, it's a cold pack on the eye, just waiting for the pain to ease a bit so they can open up and have a look inside.
Woods dumps it long to the outer side. Big pack of players, and off the hands, Peter Bell. Getting busy in this game. His 12th possession. Flips it over the top to Carr for his 14th. To Coops. Great transition. Football to the goal square, and Farmer. Well, there's one for the highlights reel for Fremantle fans, from fullback to full forward in 10 seconds. Great direct football.
And they're the ones you actually dream about as a coach. You just see the final kick there from Stephen Coop, just over the head of Makepeace, and Farmer just leant back into him and knew, or he had to sit the whole way because of the precision of the kick, but great team goal coming up.
So Farmer, third kick, third goal. And the Dockers regain the lead at Subi.
So it was a great contest initially from the point kick-out, wasn't it? There was about 3 or 4 Fremantle runners. You see the play here, Dion, that's a 55-metre kick to 2 talls. You've got Polak and also Simmons there, and 3 numbers running underneath. Fantastic team play. They would have done that at training a few times to try to get it going, and finishing with this precision kick from Coops. Brilliant football.
Farmer has 3. And the Dockers regain the lead. We've gone 15 and a half minutes in the second term as Trent Crode has a chat to Chris Connolly. Bell again, starting to dominate this game. And as far as Harvey goes with the torpedo, his kick of choice this afternoon. Parker taken in a tackle by Harding. McManus comes off half back. He's got a couple of men in space. One is Simmons. Another one is Hazelby. Hazelby goes inside 50. The mark is taken by Longmuir. He plays on and kicks another one.
Crowd's getting involved now, which is what the Fremantle team would be wanting. There's just been a couple of instances with Simmons running forward. He just bumbled that ball and allowed Hazelby to run onto it. And Justin Longmuir actually prefers kicking the ball, I reckon, on the run. He's identified that he was on, had a couple of metres on his opponent. He struggles from about 45. Hasn't had a huge season, but he can be dominant.
So the Dockers out to an 8-point margin now. Cook over the football. Body's thrown in. Comes out the back to Harvey. His kick is out wide, looking for Stevens. Farmer beats him to it, looking for the boundary. Stevens plays it pretty well. Farmer, good pressure. Hair pass over the top. Crowd or Waterhouse. Take your pick. Simpson hard at the man. Waterhouse still with control of it. Baird gets his body over the football. Looks for the free kick. But his job was done. Sees it over for a boundary throw in.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty, Mark, but it was effective. Waterhouse was involved and the ball is in their area. And I think that's a marked difference to last week's game against Richmond.
Fremantle is up the ante. In the last 5 minutes, a couple of quick goals. Stevens. Backbeats the hand pass to Simpson. Cook the pressure. Pavlich back on the ground. Forward pocket tries to steer it through. Unlike round 1 in Adelaide where he kicked a miracle goal, Pavlich couldn't find the opening.
Looked like he did all the hard work, didn't it? He actually threw Colbert looking to come back on the ground, but Pavlich did all the hard work. He steadied. Just came off the inside of his right leg.
Fremantle really putting the Kangaroos under pressure nearing half-time. The kick in by Sinclair. Stevens and Pavlich, a mismatch there. Good tackle by Robbins on Bell. Pavlich and Stevens go head-to-head. And the umpire with no choice but to call for it. Anthony Stevens makes his way from the ground, escorted by Sean McManus right to the very end. In fact, McManus will join him off as Cook and Colbert emerge. Pavlich over the top. Wells beaten to it by Carr. To Hazelby, swings it round his body. Best position was Baird. And the Kangaroos defender relieves the pressure across to Rawlings.
Little attack round the outer side. Clayton, his target, has had a couple of metres on Longmuir. The kick was well weighted. He's got Colbert over the top. He marks on centre wing, looks up. Corey Jones is running hard to make space at half forward, and he honours that lead. Jones, 70 metres from goal. Shoulder injury pre-season for Corey Jones. Made his way back into the lineup this afternoon. Tumbles one inside 50.
They're playing that as a beautiful pass.
Right onto the chest of Shannon Grant.
Well, he's gone the top again. Obviously, there's indeed Laidley's coaching manual. Torp's a part of it. And I reckon that was just reaction time from Shannon Grant. He just reacted quickly to the ball dropping deep. That's just a sign of a good player.
So Grant, this will be his 11th possession coming up to join Adam Simpson. He's the leading stat getter for the Kangaroos. Matthew Carr has 15, Peter Bell has 12. Both of those players with 7 touches in this second term. Troy Cook has a spell, replaced by Roger Hayden. Ball with Grant, taking plenty of time. Just questioning where the mark is. And he is coming off the Michael Holding runner.
He'd want to kick it after this, wouldn't he?
He stands 55 metres out from goal. The mark is about 25 out. Step run up, and in the end, after all that time, pushes it across the face of goal. Daniel Haynes just comes across to commiserate with him. And behind is Shannon Grant. The margin back to 8 points as we approach half-time. Des Headland returns to the game. 4 possessions for him in the opening half of football so far. It'll be Dion Woods with the kicking in duties again. Kangaroos have a deep zone. Takes it outside 50. Pollock at the front of the contest. It comes down to Harvey. Hands off to Colbert. To Petrie. Looks to spot a target inside 50. Pavlich read it off the boot. And came across to shut it down. Chips one over the top to Carr. Having a blinder. 16th touch coming up. His career best. 30 touches against the Hawks back in round 3, 2001. He's on track to beat that this afternoon. Harding. Wrapped up. Umpire says hold the ball. Pause for a dramatic effect.
He tried to entice a high tackle there, Harding, but the umpire had good position.
Crowd thumps it deep inside 50. Plenty of players in that pack, but only one comes down with it, Justin Longmuir.
That's his strength, and it's a fantastic lead from Longmuir. He probably hasn't led too much. He's become more of a stage 3 target there. but that's his absolute strength, his ability to win a contested mark. There was no body weight on him, so it was an easy mark in the end. Baird would be disappointed with that effort. He could have at least whacked the arms of Longmuir.
Longmuir complete with mattress on his left leg from 45 metres out. Better result this time. He's kicked his second.
Kicked the last three goals, Fremantle, and it's been an interesting game. A lot of goals scored, 16 for the match, but just keep saying, I know, if you can isolate this boy, he's got the ability to take unusual marks and marks you probably don't expect him to take. He's got a few inches on Baird, his opponent, and even with that cushioning around his right leg, or left leg as well, he can take a grab.
Some good signs for the Fremantle Dockers. A couple of their key forwards, Farmer and Justin Longmuir, amongst the goal kickers this afternoon, and Clive Waterhouse. Some exciting passages of play in his comeback. Robbins hits it to King into the path of Simpson. If it sits, he's away. Parker oncoming. Well done by Simpson. Runs to 50. Measures the kick. Grant will provide the shepherd. He doesn't need to. Quick response by the Kangaroos. Well done out of the centre square. Robbins initially, and then finding room. Adam Simpson did very well.
Yeah, I reckon Shane Parker should have taken Simpson out. He's allowed to get him goal side, and he'd be disappointed with that. Shane got a block in the end, but if you'd kept him on his right-hand side, Simpson wouldn't have been allowed access to the ball. But he attacked it hard, Simpson, and the more times you actually do that, the more opportunities you'll get, as we know. He's had a great duel with Carr. He's up to 12 possessions and a goal. And Matty Carr, he's not sure who's the tag or taggee in this duel, but Matty Carr's up to 16 possessions.
The margin back to 8 points. Ball in the centre. Simmons decisively. Carr, another possession coming up. Feigns and then drives it long inside 50. Two Dockers at the front. Heaven misses what he should have taken. Then fumbles. That allows King to get his foot in there. Across to Petrie. Important turnover this for Fremantle. Back to Simpson. The centre half forward. Drives it long. Pack sets. Grant over the football. Wells dangerous here. Hayden will have to watch his man. Off the ground goes Daniel Wells. The idea was right. And Desi Headland, a sigh of relief at centre half forward as he coughed up the football. And Chris Connolly with some work to do on the phone just before half time.
Almost expected that one from Wells to go through. We've certainly been treated to some wonderful goals this afternoon so far. Plenty of highlights.
There's a fair few fantastic soccer goals being scored this year as well.
Grover has it. Defensive 25. 7 points is the margin. Entertaining contest at Subiaco. Kicked into the man on the mark. Spills to Woods. Motlop strips him with the football. Twisting and turning. Dinky little chip over the top. Not 15. King wrapped up, dropped the football. Walker in there. Grover emerges to Woods. They're under pressure to Haynes. He is under the pump. Wells comes through to clean him up. Parker to Hayden. Living on the knife edge, the Fremantle Dockers. And it pitches and finds the line. Copybook out of defence from Fremantle.
Well, it wasn't great, but they're the possession getters. Carr and Simpson, 30 between them, and they're playing on one another. It's quite amazing. Bell's been good as well with 12.
Throw in forward 50 for the Kangaroos. They trail by 7 points. 4 minutes remaining till half time. Robbins thought about the handball, dropped it, picked it up again. Goes by foot. Inside 50. Bell stands tall. Got it to Woods. The Dockers break to the outer side. Here's Haynes. Can have a bounce. He has a couple. Make it 3. Across the logo he runs. 5 bounces for Daniel Haynes. Inside 50 and turns it over. Now the Roos can go on the counter punch. Rawlings to Colbert. To Sinclair. Back to Colbert. Now they're mucking around with it.
Good question though.
Headland dragged off it illegally, said the umpire. And the Dockers will get it.
Yeah, they got it back through sheer hard work there, Fremantle. Good forward pressure from their forwards.
Headland, 5th touch coming up. Peter Bell's run on and takes the mark uncontested, 40 metres out from goal. As Hazelby comes to the bench for a spell. Paul Hazelby with 6 touches in the opening half, replaced by Troy Cook. Petrie will come off and be replaced by Porter. The ball's with the Fremantle captain. He's kicked one from 45 metres out. Kick on its ways across the face. And the mark is taken by Medhurst. Wants to play on quickly. Goes with the banana. And it's right across the face of goal. Ball still alive. Chance for Bell. Could have been a set play. Handball to Carr. And he gets the goal. Well, if there's a word to describe Fremantle's last 3 or 4 minutes, it would be unconventional.
Well, that wasn't copybook, but I reckon it's the end result of a good, solid quarter from them. I mean, you're going to get those type of goals with Medhurst and Farmer down in the forward line. I mean, he's gone for the banner, it's gone across the face of goal. And when there's a bumbling ball deep inside your forward half, you're always a chance. Good awareness from Bell. See, what a duel between Carr and Simpson. He's had a great game. He's had some scalps this year already, Matty Carr. Simon Goodwin from Adelaide, the All-Australian. Also had Paul Williams from Sydney, a couple of champions, and he's taking on another one in Adam Simpson today.
Some dangerous signs for the Kangaroos as Waterhouse returns just before the long interval. Porter with first hands. Pavlich weaves his way through. Stripped of possession. Jones to the run of King. The hand pass a little sloppy. Robbins in support from half forward. Delivers beautifully onto the chest of Grant. No chance there for Hayden. And Shannon Grant, who started the quarter in terrific fashion, has the chance to slot through his third of the afternoon. Hanging tough, the Kangaroos. Warm conditions. Heavily favoured for Fremantle. The Dean Laidley's Chargers have started the season in terrific fashion.
Missed the last one to the left, didn't he, Shannon Grant? I reckon he's good enough to be able to realise his technical problem there and fix it.
From 45 metres, doesn't look great off the boot, but it does the job. A late goal to the Kangaroos. Shannon Grant gets his third.
He's played in front, he's played forward, he's played on the wing. Gee, a handy player. He's bordering on champion status, I reckon, Shannon Grant. A little fumble there from David King. The ball goes forward. Just watch him, he's just in front. And I reckon if those two boys, Hayden and Grant, were in a 50-metre dash, Hayden would have him, but just the ability to stay in front and really a reaction thing from Shannon Grant. That's why he took that easy chest mark in the end.
So Grant, 12 possessions, 3 goals. His personal best, 5 goals against the Dockers. In round 9, 1999, Bell to Pavlich. High ball inside 50. Medhurst, spectacular, couldn't quite bring it down. Watt to Clayton. Robbins breaks to the outer side. The ball will sit for him, he'll be away. Goes to Motlop, had to take it on the half volley. Good clean hands, then turns his man inside out. Great effort from Motlop, runs away from McManus. High ball, rock of the target, over the top went Woods. His man stayed down, Grant. Woods put his body on the line, redeemed himself. Back to Grant, sells the dummy, goes with a banana and kicks a point. An exciting point, mind you.
A great play from Shannon Motlop, wasn't it? Just took the game on. Normally, if you've had a little bit of a run, the lactic acid builds up in your legs and the execution's not normally there, but he has kicked that ball to a very, very dangerous position, right on the point of the square. Dion Woods, the ball went through his hands and Grant was able to pounce, but good play from Motlop initially.
69 seconds remaining in the opening half of football, and it's Woods with the kick in. Goes looking for Simmons. Stands tall at the back. Carr for possession number 19. Dockers a chance through Cook over the top to Crow. He's got a panic. Can have a couple of bounces. He can go all the way. He's had 3. He runs to 50. Loads up and goes over the top. Good disciplined play. Great vision from Trent Crow.
I'll tell you what, that is fantastic play because unlike Daniel Haynes, who had about 5 bounces ball, his execution after the run wasn't good. That's a great finish to Crow. Normally he would blaze away, I reckon, and have a ping from 50, but great team awareness from him.
Headland from 25 metres out, almost directly in front. Slots it through.
They've got 2 goals this quarter, Fremantle, from their point kick-ins, which is fantastic. If you get 3 or 4 a game from a point kick in, you'd be absolutely wrapped. They're on track to do that. Essentially, the Kangaroos haven't touched that ball again, and Croyd was just loose on the wing. It was an obvious set play. His entire team knew the space was in front of Trent Croyd, so they've gotten out of his way, and that's a great little kick. Great little kick to get Headland on. Good for Desi's confidence as well. You look at his action, he's got a great action, guides it down beautifully with that right hand, and good follow through.
The 6-goal quarter to the Fremantle Dockers has given them the edge. Right on half-time. Bounce favours Porter. Wins it down. Colbert couldn't control it. Stevens goes to ground. We'll have a secondary ball up with time running out for both sides here. Entertaining.
You want to talk about this, Kurt?
First half of football. And the Dockers will go in with a 12-point margin. Siren sounds, and the Fremantle Dockers take that slight advantage into the main break. 11-7 at 73. The Kangaroos 9-7-61.
6 goals, 3 in that term to the Fremantle Dockers. The Kangaroos adding 4 goals, 5. So it was the Dockers by 2 points at quarter time. They've extended that to 12 points at half time. It's the Dockers 11-7-73. The Kangaroos 9-7-61. Half time at Subi.
Can Peter Schwab lead the Hawks out of the doldrums? How is he dealing with his heart condition? Who are the big names not performing? Find out when the Hawks coach joins Gerard, Mike and Robert on the couch, Monday, 8:30 Eastern.
Go Harvey Norman for 400 days interest-free. No deposit, no interest, no repayments until June 2004. What a deal. Now's the time to buy electrical, computers and communications, furniture and bedding, and much more. 400 days interest-free. No deposit, no interest, no repayments until June 2004. Minimum purchase $500. Conditions, fees and charges apply. See store for details.
Want to make big savings on your monthly mobile bill? You can with Telstra. Bring your mobile to Telstra now, and with our rewards packages, you can combine your mobile with your Telstra home phone and save 5% off most mobile calls. Package your mobile and home phone with your Big Point Internet or Foxtel from Telstra, and you can save a big 10% off these calls. Money you can spend on other things. Call Telstra now to find out more.
This week on All Aussie Adventures.
Tonight, a very special episode.
Russ takes 3 lucky kids on the adventure of a lifetime and still manages to help out a stranded traveller.
See if we can't get these goannas out of here.
As well as making time to help out a 4-legged friend.
He might have a pebble or a stone in his shoe. I'll just get that out and give him some relief. Ooh.
All Aussie Adventures, 8:30 Thursday on the Comedy Channel.
Do you like the conditioner and shampoo in one?
Well, yeah, you know, I do, but it does leave my hair a little oily and dang it! What is wrong with you idiot? This is not a toy!
Easy, Bobby. He's sensitive.
What if he tore it up? I can't believe.
You've got some big ones, my friend. I didn't think you had it in you.
Scratch here, there's a dent over here.
The Weather Channel delivers your local weather forecast every 10 minutes throughout the day, and Australia's current temperatures every 5. Because when you need to, know first. The Weather Channel.
Remember the night nil, my last time I got reported, Shuri? I walked in the try, yeah, it was the last time at Foots batting, it was 94, it may have been 93.
On the Hawkins wing?
Yeah, on the Hawkins wing. I walked in and I said, excuse me, are you busy? He said, that's right. I said, in that case, I'll come back in 2 weeks.
Grumpy Old Men, exclusive to Fox Footy Channel.
Half-time at Subiaco, and it's the Fremantle Dockers 11-7-73, leading the Kangaroos 9-7-61, 12-point break to the home side. They led by 2 points at quarter time and then added 6 goals 3 to 4 goals 5 in that second term. Jeff Farmer with 3 goals, 2 each to Longmuir and Pavlich, while for the Kangaroos, Shannon Grant has 3, Brent Harvey has 2 goals. Well, with the departure of Wayne Carey and Corey McKernan from the Kangaroos from Arden Street, they were the key forwards for so many years through their great success in the 1990s. A couple of new names have taken over as the Kangaroos' main targets. One of them is Digby Morrell. He came off the rookie list in 2001 and again in 2002 and is really making a fist of AFL football. He returns home this afternoon to his hometown of Perth.
Up towards Morrell, wasn't fantastic delivery, but very strong at the back. Morrell! Digby Morrell flicks a specky!
I tell you what, he's improved down the side.
It's great that the guys can look up and they'll back me to win the ball, and it gives you a lot of confidence if your own players sort of know that you give a great contest and you'll tie it up if you don't win the ball yourself. So it's it's an exciting time to be at the club, and I don't mind amusing me. They can keep kicking to me all day, I reckon.
Always hard to get the accuracy in that situation. Across the face, Morrell with tremendous carry. 1 goal, 1 so far for Digby Morrell. Looks good off the boot. Great contact. It's a goal.
He's a very smart player and perhaps being underrated by some sides.
Opposition clubs wouldn't want to underrate Digby Morrell too much longer. In round 3, he booted 5 goals in the draw against the reigning premiers and has had a major hand in turning this year's surprise packet into a real threat. Some say he has Carey-like qualities, but the former Perth boy scoffs at those remarks. He's earned his spot the hard way, coming off the Kangaroos rookie list in 2001 before grabbing his second chance with both hands, playing every game after he was again promoted in round 5 last year.
Yeah, sometimes I sort of sit back and think, how did I really get here? Because I sort of missed the chance being as an 18 or 19-year-old to get drafted and came through the system late at 21 and 22, and I guess it's a good chance for other people to look and sort of say, it's not over when they don't get drafted at 18, and it's a great journey, and I think a lot of people will probably look back 3 or 4 years ago, and probably myself, and I wouldn't have said that 5 years down the track that this is where I'd be. So I think hard work has played a lot of, a great part in it, and I just hope to run with it for a fair much longer.
Arden Street's new cold hero also has a following among the teenagers in Melbourne's Juvenile Justice Centre, where the 23-year-old works part-time as a mentor with the White Line program.
The kids in the White Line program usually don't mess around with what they've got to say. Do they help you keep your feet firmly on the ground?
Yeah, definitely. Ever since I started working there, they're the first ones to jump on the bandwagon when you have a good game, and you got to be a bit careful because this week they've all been good goal, all that, but as soon as you put in a quieter game, they're the first ones to start ribbing you, and that keeps you honest, and I really enjoy that side of it, and it's great for them to have the opportunity to come along, and you can give them one little thing that might help them get around a problem rather than getting into trouble. They could get out of trouble, and that's what it's all about, and just giving them enough skills to hopefully one day decide the right road instead of the wrong roads.
As for Morrell, he's found his path and he's running with it for as long as he can.
I tell you what, he's improved down the side.
And 1 goal 1 this afternoon for Digby Morrell in the opening half. It is half-time here at Subiaco. It's the home side leading by 12 points.
Today, it's the Blues' first hit out at Optus Oval, and they'll be looking for another giant killing when they take on Port Adelaide. Carlton versus Port Adelaide today on Fox Footy Extra.
Want to make big savings on your monthly mobile bill? You can with Telstra. Bring your mobile to Telstra now, and with our rewards packages, you can combine your mobile with your Telstra home phone and save 5% off most mobile calls. Package your mobile and home phone with your Big Point Internet or Foxtel from Telstra, and you can save a big 10% off these calls. Money you can spend on other things. Call Telstra now to find out more.
Order McDonald's new Ragin' Cajun Burger Meal and you'll get your Coke upsized for free. It's for your own good.
When big news breaks, get it from the world's leading news network. Get it when you need it. Get it when it counts. Get it global.
Saddam Hussein is a threat to peace.
The accusations of Mr. Bush are baseless.
Get it local.
I've never seen anything like it in my life.
The threat is not over.
Get it first.
Catastrophic for Team New Zealand. This is a sensation again.
The best news coverage in the world.
Imagine losing everything you own in the world. That's okay, because you know you're insured, right?
Accepting acts of God. Sorry.
So what will you do now?
You're going to sue one of the world's biggest insurance companies.
I'm suing God.
Your team line up first.
Mike Sheehan, Russell Green, and John Barnes looking splendid in green tonight.
I don't know, you was hanging it on me.
Fair dinkum.
Yeah, fair dinkum, Mike. You just can't sit back and just let them run over the top. But you've got to fly the flag, mate.
Sometimes you're in a situation where you've just got to do things.
We did some stupid, dumb things and we're not going to do it this week.
John Barnes working beautifully.
Oh, will you tell us the truth then, Hutto? There's something going on.
Well, I just asked, they changed their mind.
You might be a librarian like these blokes. Unbelievable, you blokes.
Fox League teams, live Thursday nights, 8:30.
Half-time at Subiaco, it's the Fremantle Dockers 11-7-73, leading the Kangaroos 9-7-61. 12 points the margin. Farmer with 3 goals, Longmuir 2, 3 to Grant, 2 to Brent Harvey, how am I going today, Ben? 19 to Matthew Carr, leading stat getter on the ground. He's had a fantastic first half, and great for Fremantle to see the return of Clive Waterhouse, who's just come back to the game and done a couple of great marks, and there's been some miracle goals kicked from both sides. It's been a pretty entertaining contest all in all.
Well, Clive got that fantastic mark early, and you could just tell from then and there he was his confident old self again. Fantastic for him. He's taken a couple of outstanding grabs. But Matthew Carr, the leading possession getter, along with Adam Simpson, they're playing one-on-one footy, but they're both getting a hell of a lot of the ball.
Well, it started in the midfield for the Fremantle Dockers, particularly at the centre breaks. Early on, Troy Simmons had a wonderful dominance out of the ruck. They got the first 8 centre breaks of the game.
Yeah, he's a remarkable athlete, Troy Simmons. Just watch him here. I mean, he's just getting he's been completely dominant in there, and that's the reason, you know, Hazerbee and Bell have been okay in there as well. He's also got that ability to grab the ball himself, as you saw there. That's clearly the reason Fremantle are well and truly in this game, because of Troy Simmons. He's been outstanding.
8 possessions for Troy Simmons, but clearances 21-11 in favour of the Dockers. Great piece of transition football from Fremantle we saw in that second term, when they really swept it from one end of the ground to the other, and then had a really good couple of minutes there. Had a moment where they kicked a couple of exciting goals.
Yeah, they've shown the ability to score pretty quickly, haven't they, this year? It's been quite amazing. Just a couple of really quick kick forwards have been good, and just given their small forwards like Medhurst and Farmer in particular an opportunity to express themselves.
Ran the ball from full back to full forward, ended up with an exciting goal to Jeffrey Farmer in the end, but Fremantle Dockers just playing that direct, open, flowing style of football, which is very exciting to watch, and has served them well as we take a look at the kick in here from Woods.
Yeah, it's a fantastic kick in initially, but it's 2-2 talls. There's Pollock and Simmons making a contest, and that's like rugby union. They're all lining up to get a bit of the action, which is great running football, and great for Stephen Coops to get on the end of that towards Farmer. It was a tough kick because it had to get to Farmer pretty quickly, and he had some power in his leg, and that was the reason Farmer had an easy mark in the end.
Well, Adam Simpson versus Matthew Carr looms as a crucial battle. Simpson with 13 touches leads the way for the Roos, but Matthew Carr 19 for the Dockers.
Yeah, it's been an interesting one. They're both very, very good players. Simpson kicking a goal here and finishing off his good work. I'd probably like to see them pay a little bit more attention to Matty Carr. He is the hunter. I think he should be the hunted in the second half.
Well, it is half-time here at Subiaco. It's the Dockers leading by 12 points, and we'll be back with all the third quarter action right after this.
Tonight, the cream of South Australian football clash with the best from the West at Amy Stadium. It's all too easy. It's a battle of the birds when the Crows take on the Eagles tonight on Fox Footy Extra.
There's a lot of powerful four-wheel drives around at the moment. The V8 Land Rover Discovery, it's got a lot of power. So has the Mitsubishi Pajero, the V8 Lexus, and the Toyota Land Cruiser V8. But none of them have the power of one four-wheel drive, the Nissan Patrol. Because with 185 kilowatts of power, it's more powerful than all of them. The 185 kilowatt Nissan Patrol, the most powerful patrol ever.
What would you do if you won 1 million cans of Jim Beam and Cola?
Oh, wow. That'd be amazing. First thing, I'd power flat. Yeah.
That'd be a dream come true.
It's the big rock and the big dreams stay true.
What happens when an irresistible force meets an immovable object? Sudden impact. Matt Hughes, in his 4th title defense, takes on Sean Shirk, undefeated in 21.
Southern big takedown, and he finishes with the left.
And knockout artist Robbie Lawler clashes with Pete Spratt. It's as real as it gets. UFC 42 Sudden Impact live on Main Event. This Saturday, 12 midday. To book, call your service provider.
May the 29th, 1953, the roof of the world is conquered for the first time. 50 years later, the sons of Everest are sent to follow in their father's footsteps.
My fears are very great because I know what's up there.
The sons of Norgay and Hillary reunite to enter the death zone.
I don't think we're going to get up at this time.
A National Geographic Channel world exclusive. Surviving Everest. Coming soon.
Dad, can you hear us? Dad?
Whoa! Yeah, this is pretty cool.
Hey, check this out, look.
That's great.
Yeah.
And look at all these cameras.
I know.
And we play clips, right?
That's the plan.
No Michael Bolton.
No Michael Bolton.
What time are we on?
7 till 9.
Right. 7 p.m. it is.
7 a.m.
Doug Mulray hosts Breakfast from the Basement on Music Max. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9.
I spent a lifetime of this.
One-word response to each of the 4 coaches you've had at Moorabbin. Stan Alps, influence. Tim Watson, Junior Idol. Malcolm Blythe, gone. Grant Thomas, positive. Aussie Jones, thank you.
White Line Fever, live weeknights on Fox Footy Channel.
Half-time at Subiaco. And it is the Fremantle Dockers 11-7-73, leading the Kangaroos 9-7-61. 6 goals 3 to 4 goals 5 in the second term. Helped Fremantle sneak out to a 2-goal lead at the major break as Anthony Stevens leads his side back onto the arena. Dockers have been out for 3 or 4 minutes. Just going through a couple of warm-ups and getting prepared for the second half. There's 2 other games of round 4 action on this afternoon around Australia. Adelaide taking on West Coast at Amy Stadium. Carlton taking on Port Adelaide at Optus Oval. If you don't know the score, look away now. Let's head boundary side. Here's Michael Thompson.
Thanks very much, Jason. Update on the Dockers. Robbie Hadrill still feeling dizzy after that poke in the eye. He won't play any further part in the game at this stage. Also, Troy Simmons came off just before half-time. He dislocated a finger. That has been pulled out, and he looks fine. He shouldn't have any problems at the centre bounce downs. And as far as the Roos go at this stage, clean bill of health.
Poor old Troy Simmons getting his finger pulled out, but they've got rid of it completely. So, almost set to go in the second half.
Well, he's the man, Troy Simmons. Jeff Farmer had a good first half as well. Back to some dynamic form, but they need to do something with their centre bounce structure, their Kangaroos. Porter's starting in there, but it's actually more to do with the smalls that they've got in this. Simpson, Rawlings has been a pretty good player playing on Hazelby. They actually need to change their structure in there just to try and upset Fremantle because they were dominant in there in the first half.
The Dockers have gone with a relatively small forward line all afternoon. At the moment they've got Farmer, Waterhouse and Justin Longmuir inside their forward 50. Again, they're isolating Farmer, one out in the goal square with Troy Makepeace. Longmuir standing about 40 metres out from goal.
Makepeace down there as well.
Third quarter action from Subiaco. So the Dockers by 12 points. It'll be Porter against Simmons in the ruck. Simmons another tap, straight down the throat of Hazelby and another centre break for the Dockers. Only as far as Sinclair. To King. David King with his 8th touch towards half forward was looking for Petrie.
Good mark by Pollock, wasn't? Just got in front of Petrie, read the ball off the boot brilliantly.
A couple of short options on. Goes to Simmons. 9th touch for Troy Simmons. Not one player behind him. As he goes towards the wing, Morrell came across the front of the contest, brought it to ground. McManus slapped it sideways to Bell. Bell to Pavlich. Kick smothered by Motlop. Pavlich just keeps it in. No, he doesn't. Throw in, out of wing. So Shannon Motlop just feeling the effects of that smother. Used the face beautifully.
Kept his eye on the ball, didn't he?
It'll be a dangerous occupation these days. We saw Shane Burse with a burst retina from doing that in the opening round.
And a throw in. Headland couldn't control it. Coming to ground was Clayton. The Dockers with the numbers around the football. Carr inside the centre circle. James Walker floats a kick. Waterhouse. Good take. 45 metres out. And you suspect Clive has risen for this comeback game. And he's got the chance to kick his first goal of the day. He's taken a couple of spectacular marks, but that, Ben Allen, wasn't as spectacular, but certainly a vice-like grip.
Well, it's interesting that actually you've got Sinclair running with him. Jess has been pretty good mopping up down there today, but clearly Waterhouse, you'd think, would be too strong in the air for him. I think they're looking to make a change there, the Kangaroos.
That's what confronts Clive Waterhouse. From right on the 50. The kick on its way. And Clive is back in town.
Needed a solid start, didn't they, Fremantle, to the second half, just to continue with their confidence. A couple of Kangaroos players, I reckon, have zoned back here. That's why there was some easy ball in the middle of the ground. And Jess really had no hope there. Clive beat him. It wasn't a great kick coming in from James Walker. But again, just an opportunity to beat your opponent one out. Good finish from Clive.
So the Dockers make their move at Subiaco. Their lead out to 18 points. 12-7 and 9-7. And the Kangaroos with some work to do. Simmons again down to Pavlich. It's been an exhibition in the middle today. Stevens almost run down by Haynes. Went again. Gave it to Grant, to Sinclair. To the wing. Morrell's there. Hazelby over the top. The Dockers just growing in confidence as this game goes on. If they can get the next goal, they are away. Hazelby holds it up, waits for the right option. Goes backward to Grover. He thumps it long, straight up the middle, looking for Farmer. Off his chest. McManus at 50. Handball looking for Haynes. King got an important hand in for North Melbourne. Medhurst, the deft little toe poke to Farmer. Steps inside, Makepeace. Goes with a banana kick and misses. 3 goals, 1 to Jeff Farmer. Jeez, there's been some skill and vision on display this afternoon.
Yeah, they're pretty smart, those two small forwards, Farmer and Medhurst, aren't they? Haven't had the greatest sort of understanding as yet, but they're looking at like having good signs. But they've got to do something about Troy Simmons in the middle. I think Petrie in the ruck for me.
Makepeace to Simpson. Tumbles it around the outer side, looking for Morrell off his shins. And over the line and out of bounds, but clearances now up to 24 to 11.
These
in favour of the Roos.
Yeah.
The Dockers, rather.
Dockers have been good, haven't they? These boundary throw-ins, you think Port would be able to use his bulk, so Simmons has run out the footy, obviously isn't as dominant here, but so Porter should get in front and just hold ground. That's better.
Pavlich, third man up over the top. Carter had it and lost it. Porter got it out as far as Grant. Free kick in the back, and it's going the way of Harvey. He's a sort of explosive player that needs to lift his side. It's his 12th possession coming up for Brent Harvey. The Roos need some spark to centre half forward. Harding mistimed his leap. Pollack at the back, got it to Pavlich, shrugged a tackle. Handball to Grover, he tries to break through. Simpson got boot to ball, beats Morrell. Jones, defensive 50. It's Walker to Bell. And the Dockers are away. Handball to Headland, he can sweep one over the top to McManus. Time to set it up, goes looking for Medhurst in the pocket. Dared to beat, keeps it in, Medhurst goes with the check side and hits the behind post. In fact, it's out of bounds, it's going to have to come back. And the Dockers may have been able to do better from there. Yeah. McManus in plenty of open space.
Oh, I thought he actually should have erred. I thought he did err there, and he should have kicked it more centrally. He elected to kick it out towards Medhurst, who was going directly towards the boundary line. I think Medhurst should have probably been a bit more central with his lead there.
Deep in the Dockers attacking zone, Justin Longmuir. Farmer, left foot kick. Should have done better. Under little or no pressure.
Just another example, though, of an absolute dominant clearance from Fremantle. That's a great tap down from Justin Longmuir from that boundary throw-in.
Makepeace to himself. Just to kick it very wide, intended for Motlop on the stretch. Made a meal of it. Comes off the leg of Headland, but above the knee. And the Dockers will be pretty content with a throw-in just outside their 50. Carr and Bell get the disposals on the ground. Matthew Carr has been terrific this afternoon. Headland, Waterhouse, probing kick inside the 50. Medhurst, the shortest man in the pack, thought about going to Carr in the pocket. But a terrific effort. He is very good overhead, but how did he manage to pluck that out of the air?
Well, he's just the timing of his when he whacked Baird just off the contest there was perfect. He knew exactly where Baird was, and when you're taking a one-on-one contest, that's probably imperative that you know where your opponent is, and just went back into Baird, just allow him to get full purchase on the ball. Good body work.
The Dockers forward line showing glimpses of some brilliance this afternoon. Medhurst shooting for his first of the afternoon, and he gets one. The Dockers out to a 26-point lead, and the signs are now ominous for Dean Laidley and the Kangaroos.
Yeah, just another example here of the ball coming in from Waterhouse. It's into a really dangerous position. He hasn't blazed away there, Clive, and had a real crack at goal. He's just kicked it just about 10 or 20 metres out from the goal square, and that's a perfect position just to lob the ball and allow your forwards to have a crack at it.
Dockers by 26 points. Centre breaks out to 16-6 now. It'll be a centre square infringement kick, their second one for the day. So 2 of their 7 centre breaks come from free kicks. Possessions is turned 25-11 in favour of the Dockers. The Roos looking to go inside 50 for the first time for the term. Bell will tidy up. 20th touch. Puts it over the top to Carr for his 21st. He's away, has a couple of bounces. Wants someone to present themselves. Goes back to Bell. He can go back to Carr. They've worked it to the 50. Tries to step around King and does so. Finish the job yourself. He does. What a great goal. Matthew Carr having a day out.
And the best part about that goal was actually his first handball to Peter Bell, believe it or not, because he realised Bell was on and he was running in front of him. It was a good contest at centre-half back initially. Bell's in there and got the ball rolling. But Bell runs right up alongside him from behind, and Carr knew, he just looked inside there, he understood that Bell was the man to give it to, attracted the quarter from the Kangaroos, and what a finish.
Matthew Carr kicks one of the goals of the year so far. He's rewarded to sit on the bench. Shades of Chris Judd's goal here against Melbourne last year.
The Dockers have kicked 3 goals to nothing after half-time. Their fans excited by what they're seeing. Pavlich, brilliantly done. Lays it off to Haynes. Good trace by Wells, but Cook runs onto it. McManus over the football. Support out wide comes from Hazelby. Advantage is played. Cook will run onto this. Takes the mark. 30 metres out. Players undecided, but Troy Cook still kicks the goal. The Dockers with the run of the football there. The whistle came for a high tackle. A couple of Kangaroos lingered, but Troy Cook fighting forward. An easy goal in the end.
It was just a surge forward, wasn't it? I mean, it wasn't all that pretty. Cook, I think, run from the centre bounce and just drifted forward when he realised that Hazelby had possession of the ball. But it's all come from Troy Simmons again. Absolutely dominant. I can't believe the Kangaroos, with the experience that they've got there in the middle, haven't manned up at least or changed the structure that they've got in there, because this has been a dominant centre bounce display as I've seen.
Possessions now for the term 34-12, almost 3-1. And inside 50, 6-0. Again, out of the ruck is Simmons to Cook. It's just one-way traffic. Cook will go deep to full forward. It'll get almost to the square. Shannon Watt stands tall.
It's good play, because as a defender, when you're getting killed out of the middle, you don't want to be on the last line of defence.
He goes to Baird. Around the outer wing, he's got a man in space. It's Grant. Dishes to the run of Daniel Wells. Can use his pace. To centre-half forward. King's his target. Simpson there. Spills to Morrell. Trying to get hands to Harvey. It was picked off by Headland. He just thumps it long. There's a man in space. It's Medhurst. He's 60 from goal. It's almost party time for Fremantle. Farmer, 2 to beat. At ground level, Makepeace soccers the own goal.
Good play by Makepeace in the end. He was under severe pressure. Jeff thought he might have been held. Clive comes off for a breather. They're rotating their team really well. Freo, Carr, Morehouse, 2 good players already off this quarter for a breather.
39 points the margin. It was 12 points at half-time. The Dockers have kicked 4 goals, 3. The Kangaroos haven't been inside 50. Makepeace to Clayton. Under enormous pressure to Harvey. And Harding takes the mark. And this is the first time the wheels have fallen off for the Kangaroos in 2003. Sinclair, they need to regroup. Plenty of experience and talent in the Kangaroos lineup. Just got to get their hands on the ball. King to Sinclair. Switches to Wells. It was a dangerous kick. Wells has got a couple to beat. The turnover comes. Hazelby. Morrell in support. Grover comes in over the top. Wells to open space. Simmons collects. Hazelby again. Some scrappy play. He's wrapped up by Stevens. Grover wrapped up by Morrell. Ball still alive. Headland put his head over the football. Gets to his feet. Dishes it out. And the Dockers win.
Yes.
Crow. Medhurst to 45. Misses. Just maybe took a fraction too long.
There's a free kick here to Kangaroos on Paul Medhurst. He just grabbed Shannon Watt after he disposed of the ball. The umpire's seen it. And the ball will come out to Jess Sinclair essentially on just that there. Umpire was right onto that. Just a little bit of frustration from missing that goal.
So it was a good chase. Just put Medhurst off his kick. The point will stand, and the free kick centre-half back for the Roos with David King.
And then a contest at centre-half forward, the Kangaroos. They've been well beaten there this quarter.
Need to get a goal on the board just to steady their confidence. Stevens across to Colbert, ill-directed. Woods slips back and takes the mark. He's got Simmons breaking free. Haynes in support. He goes by hand to that player. Untidy hand pass, but with time. Kicks to half forward. Longmuir from the back. Colbert cleans up. Gets it across to Stevens. The skipper. Kicks short. It's okay. Corey Jones.
This is the important kick.
The target is Petrie. Polak accompanies him. A chance for Morrell. Runs out of room. And the confidence, you suspect, has been sapped from the Kangaroos. The heat has played a part, but certainly the Dockers' pressure also.
Marks inside 50 for the game, Ben. 16-9 in favour of the Dockers, and we see Severio Rocker on the bench with just 2 touches.
Simmons. Jones overruns it. Dion Woods. Well, he'd probably be penalised for this, I'd suspect, given what we saw last week at Telstra Dome with Scott in the dying seconds of that match. But
he made yards for his team, that's okay.
Very similar to what I saw last week in Melbourne.
That's a long time ago last week.
A week is a long time in football, Ben, you're right. Kangaroos with Morrell over the football. Cook working hard. Breaks free. Slips off a hand pass to McManus. Drives it long. Open forward line. Good mark taken at the back there by Colbert. And the Kangaroos have some numbers now. Running through centre wing. Watt towards the 50. Petrie and Polak. Ball spills free. And space now for Hazelby to get it across to Coops. A little indecisive. Finally, he spears a pass. And Barr wants to go. Pavlich can take it and run. He won't. He will settle and go back and try and slot home the goal from about 35 metres.
There's good team plays, and they're getting numbers back around about centre-half back Fremantle and just surging forward with clear and precise disposal skills. And it's great that Farmers, after he's received that ball, he knew straight away that Pavlich was on further down the ground. We've seen a lot more of that, just getting your teammate on from Fremantle's point of view. It's a fantastic sign. They've also got the luxury of, because they have this lead, of really rotating their entire team to get the maximum out of each individual line there.
Pavlich, gun barrel straight. The Dockers put a nail in the Kangaroos' coffin.
Okay, that's 5 on the trot. You're the stats man, Jace, is that right? I think it's about right, but that's just been a surge from the half-back line. A good little spot up from Stephen Coops. And as I said before, good awareness from Farmer. But it's all been generated from Troy Simmons. Just remarkable. I can't believe they actually haven't changed the ruckman in there. Porter has been well beaten, just hasn't got the leap of Simmons.
5-4 to no score in this quarter. Throw in the Headland goal late in the second term, and the Dockers have the last 6. In the middle of the ground, King trying to inspire his team.
Tackle.
Simpson taken down by Bell. Bell now gets the football for possession 22. Bathes the lunging Porter. Goes to 50 off the hand of Longmuir. Jones to clean up. Here comes Farmer, and down goes Jones. Longmuir gets the crumb and snaps the goal. Longmuir's got 3, and the Dockers are on fire.
He's pretty happy. Return to form from Justin, but I just see about 5 or 6 Fremantle players just going up to Troy Simmons again as Longmuir kick a goal, and he's off again for a breather.
He's going to be kicking goals in this team.
Yeah, just Farmer. I reckon that one, he was a bit lucky to get away with that, and I'm a bit worried about that type of incident when a player's got his head over the ball like young Jones did there. I reckon there's an obligation on Farmer to get down low as well and try and get underneath Jones. Unfortunately, I reckon the free's there, but I guess Farmer's generated a goal for his team.
52 points the margin. Inside 50's 11-2 this term. Make it 3 as King thumps the Kangaroos forward again. McManus floats across the top. Probably could have marked it. Ground level Woods wrapped up in a tackle by Harding. Now the Dockers under pressure. Players pile in and will have a bounce about 40 metres out from the Kangaroos' goal. There has been one-way traffic in this term. Possessions 58-35 in favour of the Dockers. Bell and Carr up to 22 apiece. Pavlich has 16 and 3 goals. Headland read it beautifully off the pack. Kicks to wide open space on the outer side. The ball goes out for a throw in, about 70 metres out from the Kangaroos' goal. Simpson leads the game for them. He's had 16 touches, Grant 15, Harvey 13 and King 12. So it's all the usual suspects, but just not having the impact they would normally have. Petrie, Sinclair is beaten for it by Cook. To Bell. The Dockers set up again. That one beat Hazelby. Sinclair receives from Simpson, runs to 65. Goes to the goal square. Morrell caught behind in the contest. Grant tries to crash through, dishes to Digby Morrell. He snaps at goal. It's going to go right to the line. And it's marked by Jones, who plays on. Plays on. Great tackle holding the ball. Woods just dusts off his hands. If there is ever a goal-saving tackle, that was it.
He took him on, didn't he? So it was a great tackle from Dion, just going straight at the hips. Just watch the technique here. Oh, he just dragged him in, had enough of him to reel him in, but he went down low initially, and that was important.
Dion Woods kicks wide, and Cook, the Freo faithful, enjoying every moment of this. They sat through last week's debacle at the MCG. Coops' kick, Baird backs himself. Kangaroos have the numbers. Stevens pops it up looking for Jones. Bounces off his chest. Woods. King had him in his sights. Hand pass comes across from Rawlings to Stevens. Intended there for Clayton. The Dockers though.
Away here.
Through McManus. And with numbers, Hazelby. If the ball sits, he's away. Only one man inside the forward 50 for Fremantle, but it's Jeffrey Farmer, well read by Makepeace. Farmer perhaps a little too conscious of where his opponent was.
It was a good play, you're right there, by Makepeace, because the forward 50 for Freo has been completely open with only Farmer and Makepeace in it for the last 5 minutes.
Troy Makepeace, a long ball. No mark taken. Pavlich with one arm pinned, somehow got it to Crode. Interesting hand pass, in fact, he'll get a free kick.
They need to flood back, I reckon, now, the Kangaroos, because Farmer's down there with Medhurst, two smalls, but if they've got a little bit of space, they can really get each other on.
Tony Parker has a breather in game number 150, just his first game for the season, so hard to see him playing 4 quarters. The kick inside the 50 over carries Brown and Hazelby. Carr, back to Hazelby, impossible angle. Don't tell me. What a goal! What a brilliant goal!
He can kick the goals okay, Hazelby. Normally when he goes to have a rest on the half-forward line, you see him screaming out on the lead, and he's done that again. He's provided an option for Pavlich right on the 50-metre line. He's gone to ground and got up straight away, so it's a great little second effort. Carr's probably attracted a couple of defenders, and, well, that's a brilliant finish. As I was speaking, Simmons is coming off for a well-earned breather.
Good luck to the news editors who've got to trim this game down to get their highlights packages tonight. There have been so many great goals.
Longmuir into the ruck for Freo.
Hazelby's got another one, and the margin out to 58 points. Petrie out of the middle. Gets a rare centre break for the Kangaroos. A high ball. Inside 50. Crowe's gone to centre half back. Stands tall and takes the mark. Pollack broke to the member's side and takes the mark. He can chip over the top to Walker. Fremantle have had loose men everywhere this term. They've got another one. It's Hazelby. 14th touch for him. Another one. Cook. They're lining up. He can go to Walker or go himself. He'll go himself. From 50, great effort from Wells to get hand on ball. Medhurst was touched off the boot to Clive. Clive got another one. Amazing quarter of football from the Fremantle Dockers. They have added 8 goals for. The Kangaroos have not scored.
Gee, there was some poor signs there. We'll see Cook just taking the game on. Look at the smother from Wells. He got a hand in there. It was play on. Medhurst realised that he played on straight away. But just another example of getting your teammate a shot at goal. And I tell you, all good sides have an ability to make others look good. And Medhurst made Clive look good, and he's done the same on a couple of occasions for his teammates. But Call signs there from Kangaroos. There was a lot of loose checking going on. Looks like the wheels are off.
Enjoyable return for Clive Waterhouse to play in this situation. Pick up a couple of goals, just work your way into it. And here they come again through Headland. Towards Waterhouse and Watt. Stevens gets across. Waterhouse takes him to the line. The ball doesn't quite go out. It does now through Baird.
It's good as well, Mark, because a number of the Fremantle players who have been down in confidence, like Crode, Farmer, Headland starting to get a few touches, I think this type of game really can set their season up.
And when the Dockers forward line clicks, with the names inside the forward 50, very exciting to watch. Grant, touch ball, Robbins, under pressure, gets it to Motlop. Good pass, finds Clayton, inside the centre square. Morrell, being quiet, nudged under the football by Coops. Woods storms through half-back. Fremantle playing with ample confidence, spots up Headland. 75 metres out from goal, Desi Headland. Drives it to full forward, getting back Sinclair on the stretch. Gets it across to Baird. Measures the pass, and Clayton. They still haven't scored in this quarter, the Kangaroos. Harding, good pressure by Hayden. Morrell towards the boundary line, and Haynes lunges. Let's go to the boundary line, and Michael Thompson.
Mark, the crowd is really loving this. I said at the start of the game that the Dockers had copped some stick, not just from the media but from their supporters, but they are really enjoying this. Chanting, singing, all the big names are firing.
Longmuir wrestles with a former teammate in Brown, Coops and Morrell. And you suspect late in this third quarter, Ben, that the heat is a factor. The scoreboard also a factor, with both teams gasping for air.
Yeah, it's been good coaching, though, from both coaches. There's been a rotation put in place, but I guess Fremantle has the luxury of really working out exactly their rotation. Lately probably hasn't got that at the minute.
Hazelby to Haynes. Bell worked Robbins under the ball. Stevens to Grant. Inside 50. Petrie's his target. It was a good kick. Well-timed fist from Polak. Did he infringe on Petrie? He did. It'll be a free kick to Drew Petrie. His fourth touch coming up. And a chance to kick the Kangaroos' first score of the quarter.
A bit tough on young Polak, 50 metres.
So Brent Harvey will trot in. And kick a goal. So the Roos get their first score for the third term. And their first score of any sort since Shannon Grant kicked it behind at the 30-minute mark of the second quarter. So nearly a quarter of football without a score. While the Dockers have added 9 goals.
This is the initial free kick. It's just carrying forward Petrie, young Polak. I guess you could say that was there. This was the carry on afterwards that resulted in the 50. Well, as per normal, they missed the first one and they get the second.
It's just like having a younger brother, isn't it? Always gets the retaliation. Simmons, tap down to Hazelby. It's been a clinic. Baird, off half back for the Kangaroos.
John Baird looks upfield. There's not much to kick to. Clayton against Woods. The Dockers defender does well. Sinclair keeps it in play. Simmons under no pressure at all.
He's a remarkable athlete, this boy. He likes kickboxing, and I've seen him kickbox with pads well above his head. He's just got amazing flexibility and endurance.
He also likes snakes, so there's a couple of hobbies that we'll stay well clear of.
It's not a bad ruckman either.
Exactly. Robbins drops the mark, gets it across to Baird. Sinclair in space, 55 out. Drills the pass, and Wells. Mark is paid.
I think there's been a real change from the Fremantle backman, though. There hasn't been the Kangaroos forwards getting those easy marks on the lead. McManus was right on Wells's hammer there. The young boy had to earn the mark or the free kick, and that's really occurred from halfway through the first quarter. They've been right up on their opponents, the Fremantle defenders. Good defensive play.
Daniel Wells, number 2 draft pick, last year. Only goal so far in the season's come against Geelong. Right behind that, and Daniel Wells finishes off with a goal.
Well, it's good to see a couple of his experienced teammates going across to the young lad. Jess has been okay. And Sean, he did the right thing. He put his left arm there to try and whack the ball away. Just Wells in front, and that's a fantastic action from Wells. His kicking will only get better because he'll become more powerful. He's a great kick now, but with a bit more power in his legs, he'll become an absolutely outstanding kick.
Pavlich to the bench for a spell, replaced by Peter Bell. He and Carr have 23 touches apiece to lead the game. Grant 18, Simpson 17 for the Kangaroos. The margin 52 points. With over 2 minutes remaining. His third term. Carr couldn't get an effective disposal. Simpson. Grover gets back for the Dockers. Handball to McManus. Goes looking for Hazelby. He's up to his 17th touch. He's had 11 for the quarter. To half forward. Cook gathers the crumb. Runs away and flips it over the top to Haynes. He runs to 52. Spots a target. Medhurst. Then Farmer. Farmer off hands. Can give it to Bell. He can waltz in and kick another one. What a quarter from the Dockers. 9 goals for. They have added.
And the ball's gone in there quickly again, Jace. Great little handball from Cook to Haynes, who just popped it up. And he's popped it up to two small forwards in Medhurst and Farmer. And another example of Farmer giving off the goal. I tell you, as a small forward, if you kick three yourself, you've had a good game. But if you kick three and give off 3 or 4, that's turned a good game into an outstanding one.
And this against a team who's beaten them 8 out of 9 times by an average of 9 goals. Turning the table this afternoon, the margin now 58 points. Petrie got the tap on this one. Hazelby got it out to Cook. Carr again, having just about the game of his life to Walker. Chips it over the top for Headland to run onto. Gathers, 70 from home. Looks very close to the boundary line. And goes short to Hazelby again.
Fouled on, further up the ground.
18th touch for Hazelby. 12 for the quarter.
Oh, what a quarter from Paul Hazelby. 12 possessions, 2 goals. And the Dockers celebrating at Subi.
All coming forward. It's an interesting game from Paul Hazelby's point of view because he got heavily tagged initially by Brady Rawlings and didn't have a great sort of first quarter, but he's really got ability now to put that bad period of the game behind him and work his way into the game, and that's a good sign. That's a good mental sign from him. He's very strong in that regard. But just a centre bounce clearance again. Just watch Simmons just try and get over the top of Petrie here, Jace.
The Dockers' greatest winning margin, 17 points over the Kangaroos in 1998. It's fair to say that will be blown away this afternoon. Robbins clearing kick. Simpson has to stand and wait. Hazelby closing late. Good pass by King to King rather, and he's taken it about 55 out from goal. Indecisive. Sloppy footy in the end. Not much pressure. Lee Harding, he can cruise goalwards. Seeks it through. The Dockers' onslaught has been stopped momentarily, and almost in an anticlimactic fashion, the Kangaroos get their 12th of the afternoon.
That's what they got to keep doing. The Kangaroos keep plugging away, and that's what Harding's really done all year. When he gets an opportunity to take the game on, he normally does. It was just a little slot across from David King. As soon as he's got the ball there, he's taken the game on and got to top pace pretty quickly. That's a good sign from a young player.
Ball back in the centre, and Simmons again just puts Fremantle away. Bell, Cook, Full forward, Baird, nudged under the football, still good enough to take the mark. And 50 as well, so some disciplined play by Paul Medhurst this afternoon at various stages. It's cost him some metres. The quarter has been dominated by the Fremantle Dockers, no question about that. A 10-goal term, and at three-quarter time, they're poised to maintain their record at Fremantle Oval this season.
Up until that quarter, Fremantle's best ever against the Kangaroos was 6 goals to. That quarter they added 11 goals to 3, and they dominated Subi.
Monday, St Kilda looks for another prized scalp when they clash with Richmond at the Telstra Dome. That's a wonderful mark. Can the Tigers make it 3 in a row? Find out when they take on the Saints, Monday on Fox Footy Extra.
There are sports, and there are extreme sports. Just like there are compact four-wheel drives, and there's the Nissan X-Trail. Its extreme interior has clever features like a washable luggage board and drink coolers. The X-Trail. Only Nissan takes the compact four-wheel drive to the extreme.
It's footy time. The Brisbane Lions are the undisputed kings of the AFL jungle. To be really part of the Lions footy action, you've got to be at the Gabba. Get your family and friends together for a fantastic day out. The AAPT Brisbane Lions take on the Western Bulldogs at the Gabba on Sunday, April 27th from 1:10 p.m. Get your tickets from Ticketmaster 7 on 1300 136 122. Footy at the Gabba. You've got to be there.
It takes a certain type of character to work in police rescue.
360-metre freefall. What a buzz.
Someone who can hold it together under pressure.
I've seen you out there. I don't know how you guys do it.
Someone prepared to tell it how it is.
If a friend of mine is in trouble, you won't find me running for cover.
It's all about taking risks.
My God, they're going to rope down.
Making decisions and making them fast.
What we do comes down to a split second. And for one split second, you could have been seriously hurt and it would have been my fault.
Sometimes the choices aren't easy, but that's all part of the job.
We'll be up there with you.
You're both crazy. Most of all, it's about putting your life on the line for complete strangers.
We'll be alright, won't it? You'll be taking more wickets than Shane Warne.
It takes a certain type of character to work in police rescue.
But you need pushed. No, it's my job. It's what I do.
5 days a week on Hallmark, the new home of Australian television drama.
He's a sharp lawyer.
I really think I'll put some pants on.
She's a sweet hippie.
You give me 22 minutes off. You the drama.
And their parents are fruitcakes.
We're going to have sex as we do on a regular basis.
It's the comedy
Rock on.
that proves life can be rich and opposites attract.
Easter and the G-Man on the big weasel.
Australian premiere episodes.
Did I just eat bugs?
No, of course not. I'm just kidding.
Dharma and Greg, Thursday, 8:30, Fox 8.
On! Where is on?
I spy with my little eye. Something starting with...
Roadkill, coming soon to Showtime.
Sky News, Australia's news channel. Your team line up first.
Mike Sheehan, Russell Green, and John Barnes looking splendid in green tonight.
I don't know, you was hanging it on me.
Fair dinkum.
Yeah, fair dinkum, Mike. You just can't sit back and just let them run over the top. You've got to fly the flag, mate. Sometimes you're in a situation where you've just got to do things. We did some stupid, dumb things and we're not going to do it this week.
John Barnes working beautifully.
Oh, will you tell us the truth then, Hutto? There's something going on.
Well, I just asked, they changed their mind.
You might be a librarian like these blokes. Unbelievable, you blokes.
Fox League teams, live Thursday nights, 8:30.
Scintillating third term from the Fremantle Dockers. They're 21-11-137. The Kangaroos 12-7-79. The margin 58 points at the final change. Swagger goal kickers for the Dockers. Added 10 goals for in that third term. Their best ever quarter in club history. As we head down to the boundary line, here's Michael Thompson with their assistant coach, Chris Waterman.
Chris, you must be delighted with that term of football.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and we just moved the ball really well. We got it out of the centre more often than they did, and there was space in the forward line for the forwards to work into.
A lot of big names in that forward line. They're really working together well today.
Oh, I think a few guys are just running themselves into form. Justin didn't get much of a run last week, and he's missed a few games before that, so he's starting to look good. Clive's been a welcome return, and same with Stephen Coops.
Just a record 10-goal term, but I'm just looking at the huddle there. Chris wants the boys to really finish this game off.
Oh, yeah, we've come this far. I mean, you might as well go for it. We've dropped off in the first couple of games away, so we just need to keep going and try and just win the quarter and go on with a terrific game.
All right, good luck on the last term.
Thanks so much.
So 10 goals, 4 to 3 goals in that third term. Plenty for the Fremantle fans to celebrate as we take a look at the numbers, Ben. Fremantle dominant in most categories. Contested possession's an interesting one. It's an area the Kangaroos are generally pretty good at.
Yeah, they've been well beaten in all the stationary contests, haven't they? But the centre breaks is the one for me. They've led by Simmons. We've sung his praises, but not only has it got out of the square, but it's actually got into a deep area inside 50, so allowed the forwards to have a crack at the footy.
Total clearances 38 to 18 in favour of the Dockers all over the ground. It's generally an area they haven't been good at in years gone by. But 26 hit-outs to Troy Simmons has given the Fremantle Rovers an armchair ride all afternoon. He's been magnificent. He's a kickboxer. Well, he's kickboxed a living suitcase out of the Kangaroos centre square set up this afternoon.
Yeah, not only has he got a great leap, he's got great endurance. And, there's not too many ruckmen in the league that can go with him across the turf.
58 points the margin as we start the final term at Subiaco. Simmons and Petrie. Carr again for his 25th possession. Towards half forward, the bouncing ball attacked by Longmuir. Baird will collect for the Kangaroos. Handball straight into Pavlich. He flips it over the top to Waterhouse. He's already got 2. He dishes off. And a scrubby kick from Justin Longmuir lets himself down. 3 goals, 3 to Longmuir this afternoon. He's one of the players that Chris Waterman has identified as growing in confidence as this match goes on.
Yeah, he had a couple of injuries in the pre-season, and wasn't his conditions last week in the heavy rain at the G. So, no, he's looked good, hasn't he?
What about a crowd of 25,000 here this afternoon? Makepeace brings the ball out of defence. Clayton through half back. Motlop made a mess of that. Could hurt the Kangaroos. Woods, Longmuir to the run of Bell. 55 out towards full forward. Not enough carry. Makepeace takes the relieving mark. Rawlings didn't take it cleanly. Now has a problem. Waterhouse, important hand. Farmer, 35 out. Loops a hair pass. Medhurst, pretty clever. Can they cap off an amazing goal? Bell will have to concede some height on this occasion. A lot of height, in fact. Unable to finish it off. And just a touch of brilliance there, Ben, from the Dockers.
They're throwing it around, aren't they? When the ball's on the move, particularly on the ground in the Dockers forward line, they're always a chance to score because they've got those small dynamic players down there.
Stevens trying to draw a man. Trips over. Gets it to Rawlings. Slow motion football out of defence for the Kangaroos. Pro, juggling effort. Hazelby spun in the tackle. Off to the run of Troy Cook. Charges goalwards. Medhurst, how easy was that? Header pass to the skipper. Peter Bell slots through a simple goal.
And, well, disappointing from, I guess, the Kangaroos' point of view because they don't want to lose all this confidence that they've gained the last couple of weeks. Just see Anthony Stevens. But again, the ball's come in and it's really 2 on none down there. Medhurst, another assist for a goal. I reckon Medhurst and Farmer between them have set up for goals probably 5 or 6 times. Good return from Peter Bell as well, 27 possessions.
Well, the Dockers online to break a number of records this afternoon. They've already got their best ever quarter. They're only 19 points away from their highest ever score. A number of players looking at their best ever possessions.
Fremantle players just pointing at Stevens. They reckon he's in the way.
Simmons doesn't matter to Bell, to Hazelby. Lee Brown, not a happy homecoming for him this afternoon. Baird to Clayton. He finds Petrie straight through the hands. Sums up the second half for the Kangaroos. Hazelby there to swoop on it. Stevens wraps him up with a tackle. Play on the call. Motlop under pressure. Socket off the ground from McManus. Robbins by hand to Clayton. Chips it over the top and finds Motlop. We've seen that he's a thumping kick. He steadies himself from 55. Unloads and kicks the goal. Beautiful finish.
Well, they have to run the game out, don't they, the Kangaroos? There's a beautiful disposal of the ball. Ball again kept alive, just switched across from Robbins, and Clayton, it was actually a nice little pass to him. He didn't blaze away again, identified Motlop, had probably 10 metres of space around him, and off probably 2 or 3 steps, he's just off that 55.
Troy Simmons is up to a career-high 27 tap-outs. And the Dockers in complete control.
Just 4 goals since half-time for the Kangaroos. Petrie to Stevens. Little half-distance kick. Sliding in was McManus. Pushed it forward. Only as far as Wells. After a bounce. Centering kick. Good vision. Brown with a bouncing ball. Wants to get around Crone. Couldn't wrap him up. High tackle. Doesn't matter. Running goalwards. Brown finishes off with a goal. So Lee Brown, and he's returned to WA since moving to the Kangaroos, adds some respectability to the scoreboard in this final quarter.
Good vision from Daniel Wells here, wasn't it? He's identified that he's on it. He's got about 20 metres. He's looked inside there, and on his left, he's non-preferred. A fantastic little kick across to Lee Brown, who was in space. Crowd just slipping that tackle over the top. But well done by Daniel Wells. Good identification that his teammate was on.
Troy Simmons, what an afternoon for him, and Lee Brown listening to the Dockers faithful, enjoying this moment in round 4 after the disappointment at the MCG last week. Simmons down to Bell again. We're not going to stuff this. Cook to the 50. Charging out was Watt. The bounce was unfavourable. Longmuir to Pavlich off his step. Bangs it forward. And it hits the post about halfway up. Looking dangerous on every opportunity when surging forward, Fremantle. And their all-time record score, Jason, I suspect is well within their reach.
25-13, 163 against the Swans in round 6, 1995. So they're just 3 goals shy of that. They've got 16 and a half minutes to haul that in. Makepeace straight up the middle, dangerous. Crow picked it off. At ground level, Hazelby been dynamic since half-time. Cook takes Sinclair down. Clayton to Robbins. Robbins goes looking for Wells, who's been more prominent in this second half. Coming up for his 6th possession. Goes backward to Rawlings for his 13th touch.
Good manning up from Fremantle. There's not too much loose checking. There's a bit of a good run from Stevens, but they've got to beat a man.
Wells to Stevens to Brown, back to Stevens under pressure. Here's the turnover. Cook, no one at home inside 50 at all. Tumbles to the goal square. Which way will it bounce? Towards the line. And through for a behind.
Had to be a Brad Hogg wrong on then, didn't it, to go through the goals?
Is that the reverse Pagan's paddock?
It was, actually.
Gee, Warney's been forgotten quickly.
Absolutely. Stick with the WA boys, don't we?
Makepeace goes to the outer side. Sinclair the target. Mark paid. Battle on hard, Jess Sinclair. His 18th possession coming up.
He's turned himself into a consistent footballer, no question about that. He's been given a couple of roles from Laidley this year. Battled hard today.
Averaging 21 touches in 2003 so far. To Robbins. It's been reasonably quiet. 14th touch for him. Corey Jones, forward of the wing. Grant and Makepeace screaming forward in the centre square. Jones goes along the boundary line to Motlop. He's going to get run down by Grover. Did not hear him coming at all. And Grover almost turned it over. The kick to Cook just sat up. He gathered his own ball at ground level and just trots away. No one came at him. Flips a handball over the top to Hazelby. He goes inside 50 looking for Medhurst, and he marks in front of Rawlings. Wants to play on quickly. Goes to the goal square. Bends it back. Makepeace gets there, and it's through for a behind. The Dockers by 2 points at quarter time, by 12 points at half time, and then added 10 goals to 3 in the third term. And the lead now out to 56 points.
Simpson kept the ball alive to Wells. Drives a pass and hits Grant right on the chest. Wheels onto his left boot. Petrie takes it. He's got King cruising past. He played on, did he? Well, he's in the top 50 metres.
Goodness me.
And Sean McManus quite within his rights to plead his case.
The only thing he didn't do, I reckon, Petrie, was come off the line. He definitely looked inside and feigned the handball, but he didn't move. He didn't move. Well,
he did just before McManus grabbed him, but the umpire didn't have time to call play on.
I think it's technically correct, although Sean, as you can see, thinks he's stiff, and I think he's stiff as well, but I'm not sure if he did come off his line, Jas.
Took one step forward over the mark.
Martin Ellis, the respective, who's awarded the 50 metres, and now Petrie can shoot on goal from 25 metres out, directly in front. Drew Petrie, 5 goals this year, including 3 in round 1 against the Saints. And he gets on the scoreboard this afternoon.
Well, all the same, it was a good sign from Fremantle because their tackling has been pretty good. Just definitely was trying to play on. Look, there's a technical one, I guess. Well, he went forward definitely, but the question is if that's actually going off the line.
Technically correct decision. Those ones are so grey though. So while there's no doubt that Drew Petrie did take a step forward over the mark, in those situations you almost want to see the umpire just call it even and go back and say, look, go back and take your kick. Don't penalise him the 50, because McManus was right in tackling him, but wrong before the umpire called play on. Nonetheless, it's a goal to the Kangaroos. Lee Brown will tidy up at half-back. Goes towards Clayton, further afield towards Grant. At the back, Walker will clean up for the Dockers. Thumps it towards Crow, had the sit, couldn't quite bring it down. Pavlich at ground level. Tries to fend off the tackle from Brown. Got it free now to Trent Crow. He can run to 40 metres out. Wasn't quite balanced as he kicked it.
Could have kept going, couldn't he?
And misses to the left.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good effort for him to throw himself at the footy initially, and probably even better, actually, the second effort to get on top of the ball. And I reckon he could have run another 4 or 5 metres steadied and slotted that one.
Makepeace. Go outside defensive 50, looking for King. Longmuir to get across. Ground level, Wells socketed off the ground. Jones steps inside Bell. Dishes off the handball to the run of Clayton through the middle of the ground. Goes looking for Rocker. Got hands to it, but never a chance to mark. It was spilled to Woods. Stood tall, gave a handball to Simmons. He's got a man in open space. Hazelby has been in open space for the entire second half. Goes inside 50 as easy as you like and finds Trent Crow. But Paul Hazelby had 4 touches in the first quarter, 2 in the second, so he had 6 to half time. He's now had 24.
And you just realised then that no one was coming at him. You saw Crow, gee, there's no one anywhere near him there. That's a poor sign from the Kangaroos' point of view. But Hazelby just summed it up brilliantly. He knew none of the Kangaroo defenders were coming at him. They're all running with him towards Fremantle's goal. So he was the man to spot it. Well done.
Crow kicks for goal and gets his first for the afternoon.
I reckon he's worked hard today, Crow. It's his first game back because he spent the first couple of weeks on the sidelines with suspension this year. If you look at this is easy, just up into open space. See, no one going towards Hazelby. Kangaroo defenders running away, and that's an easy release from a player with his ability. But Crow's worked pretty hard, got better as the game wore on, and this is his second game back at AFL level. He'll even be better next week.
Well, the Dockers really do save their Superman outfits for Subiaco Oval, and they've done it again. The Kangaroos shell-shocked after a superb third quarter effort by Fremantle, a 10-goal term, and again a centre square clearance. Sevens, Bell, McManus all involved. The former skipper wants to take them on. He was caught undone in the end. Robbins, across now to Harding. Kicks into the pocket, Sav on the lead. Been very quiet this afternoon, spent a lot of time off the ground. Wheels onto his right boot, good vision, and King will mark.
And look who's on the mark there. That's just another example of Troy Simmons and the huge amount of work that he does. He's contested that centre bounce. There's been a bumbling ball around the half-forward line for Fremantle, and he's worked all the way back. Really would have, I reckon he would have run it past 2 or 3 opponents to get there. Just a huge appetite for hard work, Simmons.
David King, point blank range, has no trouble converting. He really did spark the Kangaroos the last time these sides met in Canberra. But unfortunately, the weight of numbers is told against David King this afternoon. Sean McManus off with a breather, but the Kangaroos just getting an important goal.
It was great hard running from King. He was in the middle of the ground when Lee Harding picked that football up. Presented himself. Harding didn't see him. Just kept running. He sprinted 80 or 90 metres to get by himself to the goal square then. Great endeavour. It's the Dockers by 51 points. Approaching the 15-minute mark of the final term. Petrie in the ruck against Simmons. Simmons hands again to Hazelby. Off the shins of Lee Brown. Corey Jones to Brown, under pressure, taken by Haynes. Pavlich flips it over the top to Crode. Crode will spear it inside 50, looking for Justin Longmuir. He worked what under it, but it went to the back. Medhurst there as well to clean up. Wheels onto the right, looks for a target. Well cut off by Makepeace. He was looking for Matthew Carr. Makepeace, 12th possession.
He's been pretty solid down there. Huge amount of ball coming towards him, and I reckon he's been reasonable, although Farmer's beaten him on the day.
Inside 50s, a 57-37 in favour of the Dockers. Makepeace towards Motlop. Brown got a hand on it. Can go again. Flip it to the line. Hazelby will get possession, number 25. To Carr for his 26th. To centre half forward, here's Simmons. Umpire said he was held without it. I'm sure Simmons can go back.
It's a disciplined kick, isn't it, from Matthew Carr. Swung onto his left. Didn't come off his leg all that prettily, but it's come again to a central position, and that's the one thing I think Fremantle have changed quite markedly from last week. Just their discipline when they're going into their forward half. They've always kicked to a central position.
15 possessions, 6 marks, 30 hit-outs, 4 clearances for Troy Simmons. Outstanding performance, particularly in the centre of the ground today. It has been a joy to watch. And a chance to cap it all off with a goal of his own. From 52 metres, he goes into the man on the mark. Thanks for wrapping him up. Done it again. Simpson. It's uncanny, isn't it? Towards Harding. He can run away from Grover. No, he can't. He thought he could. Stevens, was he taken forward in the tackle? The Dockers explode away through Coops. Ugly kick. It's going to come straight back at him. It's marked by Wells.
Daniel Wells, nothing too pretty about that kick either, but it found Grant, the bouncing ball. Cruising pass was Rawlings. King in open space at right half forward. Comes inside, a couple of Kangaroos there, and Stevens has it on his chest just on the 50.
It was a great chase from Grover a minute ago, wasn't it? He's very, very quick, Grover. Harding is quick himself. Good spot up from King there. Just realised Anthony Stevens was in open space. Didn't blaze away, so that's... Oh, Steve-O's spotted it as well to Sav.
And he finds him on the chest. Just perhaps outside his range there, Anthony Stevens, and sensing that Rocker charging forward takes the mark.
Just that chase from Grover before, I guess that is the type of thing that has epitomised Fremantle's play from quarter time. They're just doing the little things. Little tackles, smothers, and the hard things that I guess have been missing in their 2 losses this year.
38 goals in 5 games against Fremantle for Sav Rocker, as we mentioned pre-game, but he's had a tough time this afternoon. Hasn't spent a lot of the time on the ground. Rocker from inside 50. Just a question of accuracy, and the big man kicks truly.
Yeah, again, good signs. He's getting a few pats on the back. And this is really how they played their footy in the first half of the first quarter. Just a lot of easy, uncontested possession down the outer side and an ability to spot the ball up. It's a nice kick from Stevens and good play from his teammates that allow Sav the space with which to run into.
Very much like a basketball huddle there. Simmons had his 3 rovers around him in the middle. He decided where this one's going to go. It goes backwards. Carr couldn't quite gather it. Corey Jones will take it for the Roos. We'll go inside 50. King's got front position. Good mark.
It was good strength, wasn't it? Grover's not a light fellow. He's got a good presence about him. And King's just worked his way back into Grover as that ball's come on. Stood his ground with a fair amount of body weight. That's a pretty good mark.
The Kangaroos have kicked 5 goals this quarter, 5 straight. To the Dockers, 2 goals. 2 goals, 5 as it turns out. A chance for King to kick their 6th for the term.
That record of Fremantle they're chasing, all-time record. They may get there, but
what do they need? Another couple of goals?
9 points they need. As Clive Waterhouse comes to the bench, his day you would expect is over. As King from 48 metres out tries to bend it back with the body language, can't do so. Misses to the right-hand side. So Clive Waterhouse return. 8 possessions, 3 marks, 2 goals, 1. And plenty of excitement from the Subiaco crowd.
Just from Kangaroos' point of view, a 17-goal loss, if there's a positive for them to take out of it, isn't all that bad.
It's a big losing score, isn't it? 17-8. It's been a pretty free-flowing shootout from the word go. Parker to Coops. Straight up the middle to Woods. He's grown in confidence today. His 14th possession, one of his better games for the Dockers. Over the top to Hazelby, but his 26th. 18 since half-time. Goes to Haynes. Thumps towards half-forward. Tumbling kick fell short. Athletic effort from Jones. Ultimate result ended up in the hands of Medhurst. Porter put the smother on. Cook crashed in. But Sinclair did well. Got it to Rawlings. To Jones. To Sinclair. Under pressure. It's going to be a turnover. Farmer. Clowns the call. Makepeace. Jones. It's not pretty. Croad comes in to wrap him up. In the end, he says holding the ball.
Not pretty, Jace, but that's exactly what they needed today, Fremantle. A forward line that was capable of scrapping with the Kangaroos. And they had about 3 or 4 chances in the Kangaroos to get the ball out of the forward area. But because of the pressure from guys like Croad, it's remained there. Ended up getting a free kick. It's good team play.
10 possessions, 4 marks to Trent Croad. He's kicked 1 goal, 3. He'll kick this from about 55 metres out. Got plenty of it. It's across the face of goal and a great mark to Medhurst. So many mercurial players in this Fremantle lineup, and they've all given us a bit of a taste here and there throughout the afternoon. This time it's Medhurst's turn to shine. He's kicked 1-3. Can he finish it off with something special?
He's tried a banana today already. I reckon he'll go the same type of kick. Maybe come out a little bit to the left as he's going towards goal.
Finishes the job, this Paul Medhurst. He's got 2. And the Dockers are within 3 points of their all-time greatest score. They're 24-16, 160. The Kangaroos, 17-8, 110.
He's just been allowed a free crack at that footy. Poor defence really from the Kangaroos. All the same, it's a great mark. But Medhurst has gone 2 or 3 metres beyond the goal there and just run in with no defender around him. Good finish as well.
Paul Medhurst with a couple of goals this afternoon. Clive Waterhouse would have thought he had the mark of the day in his back pocket, but Medhurst making a late challenge. Perfect bounce in the middle. Simmons, no surprise, thumps it forward. Wells gets involved. Simpson puts it out the back to the run of Motlop. After a bounce, centering kick, Rocker, best position. Should have hung on. Grover across to Parker, back on the ground. The run comes from Polak. Kicks a long ball, the sit for Rawlings over the top, but couldn't prevent Medhurst taking a brilliant mark. Spears the pass, and Des Headland almost directly in front can shoot for the 25th goal of the afternoon for the Fremantle Dockers.
Yeah, fantastic kick from Medhurst. He's very adept at playing on straight away, top mark as well, but he's on the go straight away. I reckon what was Simpson, about 4 metres away from Desi as he took the mark, and he had no hope of touching that ball.
Des Headland. The Dockers have kicked their highest ever score. Whichever way you look at it, Ben Allen, it has been a devastating performance after half-time.
Yeah, they've just grown in confidence, haven't they? I mean, that's pretty hard to stop. I know Headland's been given a fair bit of room and isn't necessarily Simpson's opponent, but gee, when the ball comes in that low and quick from someone like Medhurst, you can't get a fist on the footy. And I'll tell you, the most impressive thing today, apart from Simmons, has been the way that forward line has functioned for Freo.
56 points the margin. Colbert gets the clearance for the Roos, thumps it inside 50. Morrell off hands, free kick over the shoulder to Digby Morrell. 7 possessions, 1 mark to Digby this afternoon. He's kicked 1 goal, 1. Have to kick this the best part of 55 metres. He does. Digby Morrell gets his second. Minimum of fuss. He's got 2. The Kangaroos have kicked 9 goals since half-time. It's amazing, and they trail by 50 points.
They kicked 18. That is amazing. And look, he's turned himself into a player. Digby, he's always had a great kicking action when he's full forward for West Perth. He's always had that potential, but he's changed his body shape. And he's got an ability to run out games now, so he's become more consistent as a consequence.
So the margin back to 50 points. 43 goals, 24 for the afternoon. It's been an exciting game of football. Plenty of action, plenty of highlights. Headland, it's not over yet. To Cook. High ball, Medhurst underneath it. Rawlings did well, just got a well-timed hand in there. Watt tries to crash through. Colbert paddles it forward. Did well, got it to Simpson. He finds Grant. Through the middle to Clayton. Clayton's got a man in space. King, but closing beautifully was Coops. Did well, kept his eyes on the ball. Kept it in front of him. Straight up the middle to Cook. And he has it on the front edge of the centre square. Options are plenty inside 50. Hazelby, good hand in there from Simpson. Medhurst at ground level. Farmer tracking it back, but it'll be Sinclair to clear for the Roos from half back.
Long ball inside the centre square. 2-on-1 favours the Dockers, and Coops playing with full of confidence to Grover. Out wide to McManus. They can set it up through Crode. 60 metres out. Nothing kick. Pitches just in front of Watt. Controls it eventually. Sinclair running out of space. Back to Watt. Good trace. Comes across to Jones. Left foot kick. Once again, Coops imposing this time. Put an arm around the neck of David King and was spotted.
Open forward line, the Roos. Rocker and Harvey down there. So is Morrell.
David King. Again goes for the spiral. An ugly looking effort. Polak dropped what he should have taken. Walker's there to support. Polak's hurt behind play. Bell was ill yesterday, but certainly has come out today and played a captain's role. Hazelby, a little indecisive. Medhurst has the set and takes a spinning. Launches himself. And what a magnificent mark to Paul Medhurst. The crowd loves it.
There's going to be some very unlucky players who don't even get mark of the week after today's game.
Rawlings hasn't done that much wrong there. He's positioned himself in front of Medhurst, but just too dynamic in his leap. Just timed that perfectly.
Well, he got himself in the photo.
He loves the fly, does Paul Medhurst. Anything better he enjoys is a goal, but he won't get the double on this occasion.
I reckon he enjoyed that mark better than the goal.
I'll grant you that. A minor score, but anyone who walks away from here disappointed with what they've seen from a Fremantle Dockers point of view, very hard to please. 25-17 plays 18-8 dying stages here from Subiaco Oval.
Rawlings has it in the back pocket. Just under a minute and a half remaining. To Simpson at defensive 50. Over the top to Clayton. He goes around the outer wing. Cook desperately tries to get there, couldn't quite do so. Wells, look at that acceleration. Just bursts away. Pulls the kick back well to King. King goes over the top looking for Rocker. Just got a couple of metres on Polak and takes the mark. Landed awkwardly.
Yeah.
Gets up a little bit proppy to Severio Rocker.
A long history of chronic knee problems, has it, Sam?
110 kilogram frame.
He's still throwing, he's just passed it off.
He's gone short to find Harding, just on 50. Let's have a look at Rocker again. It's just an ankle, that left ankle by the looks. He grimaces in pain. Still a bit proppy wandering around out there.
Can still get off the ground. It's quite incredible, a man of that size, and has also had, as Mark said, a history of knee problems, can still throw himself at the footy in the air.
Harding's kicked two. One in the first and one in the third. From just inside the 50. Kicks at goal. Wait on the goal umpire for this one. It's full points. 3 goals to Lee Harding. Incredibly, the Roos cracked the 120-point barrier.
If you said they were going to kick 19 before the game, you would have thought they'd win. Seb coming off.
Watch the left ankle. Oh, just there. He limps to the bench to receive some treatment. About a minute remaining in this game. It's the Dockers by 45 points.
See if Troy Simmons can win one more tap.
Well, he's got a career best at the moment, so anything from here is a record for him. He's up to 33 hit-outs.
Given that.
Motlop in the middle of the ground. Flip it over the top. Grant. Taken in a tackle. It comes to Jones. He goes backward to Simpson. Simpson will go to Wells. The young man from Western Australia will have the last effective disposal of the game. It's been a solid afternoon for the Fremantle Dockers. Their all-time highest score, their all-time best ever quarter in the third, where they kicked 10 goals for. And they finished 25-17, 167. Defeating the Kangaroos 19-8, 122. The final margin 45 points. And an afternoon to remember for the Docker faithful.
Incredible. Good to see Clive and Crow, their entire forward line, come into the action as we go down to Michael Thompson.
Thanks very much, Ben. I've got Troy Simmons with him. Troy, congratulations. What a wonderful win.
Yeah, it's fantastic for the guys. You know, after last week, the pressure's right on us. North Melbourne's been playing really well. You know, and they see themselves up there with the Brisbanes and Collingwood, so to get a good win and get some percentage back is really good.
Just tell us about the centre bounce then. You had more than 40. It's a record for you, and it was just great to watch the teamwork between yourself and the midfielders.
Yeah, we've been working pretty hard now. I've been here a year. We're starting to, really gel together. And the boys are really fantastic. Pav in there is really providing some good strength. Hayes just seems to get on the end of them all, and with guys like Kari and that, we're really working well, and hopefully we can keep going.
Big derby next week?
Yeah, looking forward to it. Can't wait.
Good luck.
Thanks, mate. Duh.
Super afternoon from Troy Simmons. Swagger multiple goal kickers. It was such a balanced performance up forward, Ben. 3 to Longmuir, Pavlich, Bell and Farmer, 2 each to Hazelby, Carr, Cook, Headland, Medhurst. Not one player up forward stood out. It was such a balanced performance. They all bobbed up with a bit of individual brilliance here and there. As we head back down to Michael Thompson.
Matthew Carr is with him. Matthew, congratulations, a wonderful win. It was a delight to watch the work in the centre of the ground and the midfielders working together.
Yeah, I think we won a fair few centre breaks today, so the boys are starting to get a good understanding of each other, so yeah, it was good.
Did you feel much pressure during the week?
Not really, until today I picked up the paper and I had a look and I realised, I knew it was a crunch game, but they always are, so you know, it was nothing different.
It's an even bigger one next week.
Yeah, looking forward to it. It's a chance for us to really have a crack at West Coast. I don't think we've beaten them in the first round of the derbies yet, so it'll be good.
Congratulations on the great game.
Thanks, Tom.
Matthew Carr finishing with 25 possessions. Peter Bell led the way with 31. Hazelby with 27, including 19 after half-time. Carr 25, Pavlich 22, Cook 21, Headland and Medhurst 17 possessions. While for the Kangaroos, it was 3 goals to Grant, Harvey and Harding, 2 each to Morrell and Motlop. Adam Simpson with 26 possessions led the game for them. Grant had 22, Sinclair 22, Stevens 20. Mark Redding's an afternoon to remember for the Dockers.
Well, the supporters, they do stick by them through thick and thin. They've had some tough afternoons watching them play away from home, but no complaints at Subiaco Oval for some time now. And they can really set up their season over the next fortnight. They've got the Western Derby, as Tomo mentioned, next weekend, and then another home game against Essendon. So in the course of 3 weeks, the Dockers perhaps can make their bid as a top 8 side.
Just 6 goals last week, 25 this week. The Kangaroos will head back to Melbourne and play Carlton at the Telstra Dome in an important game for them next weekend. They'll be looking to bounce back and bounce back hard. 45-point win to the Fremantle Dockers. And Ben, it was a great performance because not only did they win and win well, it gave the younger players an opportunity to step up in that confident environment and just build their own games as we went. We'll talk about the likes of Haynes, Woods, Hoops and those sort of players.
Yeah, they did. You see Shane Parker, arguably Fremantle's best ever produced player, getting carried off in his 150th. We go down again to Tomo.
I've got the coach, Chris Kelly. Chris, congratulations. What a great win.
Yeah, look, it was terrific to win and kick a big score, but you know, we've still got a lot of work to do and we'll get better and better. You know, they're a terrific group and you know, it's good to be 2-2 after 4 rounds.
We'll let you enjoy it with the boys.
Thank you.
Special moment in the brief history of the Fremantle Football Club. Shane Parker, the first player to ever play 150 games for the club. And you couldn't find a better way to celebrate your 150th with the all-time club record score, their all-time best quarter. And just a wonderful afternoon for Docker fans.
And another record for the first time 7 Aboriginal boys have lined up in an AFL side together. They were all pretty happy as they were walking off.
Still a very unheralded backline, the Fremantle Dockers at the moment, but some young players there who are learning, as Chris Connolly says, game by game.
Yeah, Hayden's been good for him, hasn't he, down there? Just picking up the small forwards. Desi started the game there, which is unfamiliar for him on Shannon Grant. And Dion Woods, he had a reasonable game there as well.
Kangaroos finished with 7 goals in the final term. Dockers adding 4. But in the end, it was Fremantle at every change. They led by 2 points at quarter time, 12 points at half time, 58 points at 3/4 time when they added 10 goals for to 3 goals for. And the final margin, 45 points, 25-17, 167 to the Kangaroos, 19-8, 122 as they assemble for the song.
Come on! Was it Kiwi in the middle?
Right outside, mate.
Drums were pounding for the Fremantle Dockers this afternoon. In the end, they ran out 45-point winners. Great day for Fremantle fans. The Roos will lick their wounds and come again. But on behalf of Mark Reddings and Ben Allen, it's the Fremantle Dockers by 45 points, and it's goodbye from Subiaco.